This is the Ayer Conservation Commission meeting, Thursday, November 21st, 2019. Confirmation of agenda?
I have a couple of items for the agenda. First, our first public hearing has asked for to be continued to our next meeting. The plans aren't ready, so that one's off.
Our next meeting will be
December 5th. Yep. We're not going to have an applicant in attendance for the discussion of the certificates of compliance for Pingree Hill, but I think we have some things to discuss about those anyway.
Yep.
And then in an unusual agenda move, Jeff Thomas, our Parks Director, is meeting upstairs with his commission and is going to have some information for us when he leaves his meeting regarding canoe and kayak access at Sandy Pond Beach. And he very much would like to stop in and tell us what they were talking about tonight. So
he could.
So when he arrives, if we can just pause for a moment and let him talk to us for a sec. I don't really know how to arrange that as as an agenda.
Wait till we're done with an issue, or just in the middle of?
It probably depends on the issue.
See where we're at.
Yeah.
Is that agreeable?
I would do between issues. Wait until the end, finish, and then
Okay.
wedge it in.
Yeah, are they expecting to be like a while, or?
It's like us. I'm sure he has no idea.
Put them in at 10:30.
10:30. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and I'll find out what they talked about tomorrow.
Okay. Any more discussion? Motion to confirm agenda as amended?
Yeah, your swan song.
So moved?
My last so moved.
Whoa. Oh.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Agenda has been confirmed. Approval of meeting minutes. Everyone's read the minutes. Any discussion? Changes?
Look good.
Good. No shopping list and nothing like
No shopping list. No curse words either.
that? Motion to approve minutes as written.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anywhere? Fine.
As the clerk, it's my lowly duty.
Are there any announcements?
My one announcement is that this is Commissioner Tillotson's last meeting, and I thought that we would send her on her way with a no dumping, no disturbance sign.
I love it. I love it. Thank you very much. It's very sweet. And at the end, I have something for all of you as well.
Well, we thank you, and we will miss you.
I'll miss you too.
Yeah. So
You know.
don't dump or disturb.
But one can always come back
Yes.
when appropriate. So
And you could come sit in the audience too.
There might be an instance where you might see me in the audience.
Well, the town of Ayer owes you a debt of gratitude and appreciate your service.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
How many years?
I think 4 years, close to 4.
It was 2015.
15? Yeah. September, wasn't it? Was it
At
September?
the same time as our previous administrator was starting.
That's right, that's right. Yes.
You'll be missed.
Yes, I will miss you all as well.
Accounts payable?
We have a few. We've got task 5 from Solitude Lake Management.
Did
That-
we get the final report?
No, this is not our final bill.
This is task 5, water lily treatment. Ponds on 9/6/2019, Flanagan's Pond, Pine Meadow Pond, Sandy Pond, for the sum of $3,500. Any discussion? Motion to approve payment of $3,500 to Solitude.
So moved.
Second?
You have to say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Jess.
Thanks. Clerk notations. So I can put my little check.
Well, that one's going around. We have a bill from the Sun newspaper for legal ads that we've already gotten the checks from applicants for. It's in our revolving fund.
I thought you were doing those.
But it was in the, yeah, I could, but it was in the file folder, so.
Okay, this is payment to the Sun for legal ads for the sum of $283.04. Motion to approve paying the Sun.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And while that one's going around, the last one is a very belated bill from Ecotech for Paul's last site walk with us in June. He's a little behind in his billing. It's for the oil spill. And we've got the money for that is in a separate account.
This is paid to
Ecotech?
Ecotech.
Yeah. Paul McManus is our consultant on the oil spill cleanup.
Motion to pay Ecotech the sum of $423.48.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So Joanne, that comes out of a different account than our typical?
Yeah, the applicant pays for our consultant, so all the money for that contract was put in a separate account at the beginning of the contract.
Okay.
And as we get the invoices, they get paid out of that special account.
And then whatever's not used gets returned, right?
Yep.
Thanks.
All right, our first item, public hearing, notice of intent. DEP file number 100-0437. And that, we're going to
That's the one that's continued to.
continue.
Yeah.
So is a motion to continue to our next meeting.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Our second item is public hearing, NOI continued, Lily Pad Realty Trust, 20 Hibiscus Lane, DEP file number to be assigned, no number as of yet.
No,
Yes.
we do have the number.
We do have the number.
Do you have it off the top of your head?
I have it in the file there, so yes, I
Okay.
can get it to you in a second.
I think I can
I'm
probably.
gonna guess it begins with 04.
04, maybe after that? I'm gonna guess 3-7, but
I said, I didn't realize that we were 100. I was like, oh, okay. So every place is a different number. That's weird.
No, it can't be 3-7.
we already have a 3-7.
That's shaky ground.
3-9.
3-9. That's pretty close.
439?
Yes. Did you have a sign-in sheet or?
We don't.
Okay.
Do you want a piece of paper?
Well, we've never had a sign-in sheet.
Okay, just
Would you
want to
like
make
a
sure.
sign-
No,
yeah.
no, I just know some meetings there are, I just.
Right. No minutes.
Okay. We're recording you.
Okay, hi, I'm Neil Gorman from David E. Ross Associates here representing the applicant. David Badger in this property, as mentioned, is this vacant lot on Hibiscus Lane. And this is a continued hearing. At the last meeting, it was requested of us to submit DEP wetland data forms, which I have sent along by email, and I brought some prints as well with me tonight. If you need a copy of that, I have them here.
And I didn't make a copy of the data form for everybody, figuring that I was really the only one who needed it, but
If you want to look at them, here's
Yeah.
4 copies for
There
your
they are.
use. And here's some revised plans, and I'll explain what the revisions were. They wanted to open those up down there and down that way. Those are just full-size revised plans. I did bring some reduced copies, but the big ones will probably make more sense to you.
yeah, and this is the one I was able to print out.
Okay, I brought some of those too, just in case. Yeah, this plan has gone from 1 page to 2 pages because we added some additional information. So the plan view is on sheet 1, and all the details for the project are on sheet 2.
So you got proof.
Yep.
So the revisions we made include adding some plantings. So on the colored plan over here, we've added 900 square feet of plantings on this disturbed area where next to the driveway, between the driveway, right along the 100-foot buffer zone, and the detention basin area. There is area I have highlighted in yellow. It's about 900 square feet. We're proposing some shrub plantings on that steeper slope that's being created to help stabilize that slope and to provide some mitigation to the disturbance in the area. The highlighted pink areas are some rhododendrons around the property, and then the orange signifies some red maple trees being proposed. So we've added approximately 51 plantings to the project, including plus the 9 arborvitae trees that are located right here in green. Those were on the previous plan. So we've added some plantings in some critical areas, and as well as where we're going to be doing some disturbance for the proposed construction. What was also asked of us is an inventory of the trees that we believe to be removed for the project. So I have some copies of that as well for you. So I broke them down by the type of tree. Mostly pines and oak out there, a couple of white birches. Measured them at breast height, the diameter, and spelled out how many expected to be removed. I think my total there is 35. So approximately 35 trees within that limit of work that we're proposing. And we have proposed some trees, some other plantings. We have a list of those on sheet 2. And we've also added on sheet 2 a detail for the plantings of trees and shrubs on the bottom right. I also just want to point out that during my evaluation of the trees, I was also looking at the areas, the location of trees in the area that we're not disturbing, kind of near the wetlands, the edge of wetlands. Noticed many significant pines and oaks that are still in those areas. I also noticed some of them that are dying that you can see certain birds have found homes in, so obviously those are going to make, and those aren't going to be touched, they'll just be left in their condition. You can see where they've been pecking through the wood and such. So there's probably a half a dozen of those in that area, which will be just left in place. So, you know, I believe that through these hearings and site walks that we've, you know, brought forward a good plan, and one that meets the needs of our property owner as well as the wishes of the commission, to an extent I believe to be acceptable. We did try to look at moving the house in the driveway, and I mean, we went through numerous renditions prior to even preparing this one. So again, we have unique features with ledge on the site, so sitting the foundation in the saddle is just going to be the most logical place for that foundation. And having the driveway come in through the front of the house, again, is more lent to the topography than anything, to get the proper slope for safe travels. So I guess with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it over to you for questions.
Is there discussion?
I think that there had been talk of increasing the size of the buffer zone on the southeast side of the house.
In pulling that in,
Yeah.
I did not make that change. We certainly be amenable to pulling that in. I'd say maybe another 10 or 15 feet, I think would be safe. I can, yeah.
I can hear you talking, Jeff.
Right, so in this corner. I went up there today, there's a large pine and a large oak right here, so we could certainly pull that in to that location. I forgot to make that change on there. You did bring that up. Yeah, those are proposed ones, but yeah, they're in that general location.
Yeah.
But you know, that big pine is wavy right, you know, only about 15 feet off the house, so that one we would like to go for sure. And then towards the front corner, about 15 feet off, there's a triple oak that's kind of going all different directions. But we could certainly pull that in. That'd be no problem. Provide your revised plan.
Any other discussion?
Just one question about the percent cover in terms of vegetation. So this is the entire parcel, is that correct?
Again, these were prepared by our specialist, wetland specialist, and I mean, the percentages that they do what they call a transect. They pick a spot and they, you know, and they kind of associate that with the whole site. So
Right, is that within the 100-foot
does it give you locations?
pond buffer or a 100-foot wetland buffer? So the reason why I'm asking is, it might...
These are usually within the wetland
Yeah.
itself.
Okay, and the reason why I'm asking is there's a large percentage of highland,
High bush blueberry?
Yeah, high bush blueberry
Correct.
and winterberry and
Yep.
sweet pepper bush. Those are plants that, especially, you know, songbirds and birds, you know, forage on, you know, in the winter months.
And we're not doing any work in the wetlands, so that's
So-
where those are located.
Okay, and is there any, will these be taking out along your?
No, we're not doing any work in the buffer zone.
No.
I mean, within the wetland
No,
itself, I'm sorry.
But like within the limit of work?
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, whatever is within the limit of work be replaced? Like if there's a certain number of high bush blueberry,
There's no high bush blueberry in the
In
limit
the
of
limit
work
of work.
because those are wetland plants. So
Okay.
those are in the wetland.
okay.
Low
all right.
bush blueberries are upland.
Yep,
High bush blueberry are wetland.
wetland, yeah.
So we're not, yeah, we're proposing some low bush blueberry in our replication area along the driveway.
Okay,
But again, we're not doing any work in the resource area where those plants tend to live.
okay,
So to plant them in an upland environment, they probably won't do well.
Right, so
yeah, the high bush blueberry might do okay, but. yeah.
Again, they need a lot of water.
They need a lot of
And
water.
we're building on rocks, so that's
Yeah.
not gonna work too well.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
then, so I think getting to what you're probably saying, right, is that this is for the wetland. That's
Correct.
not the whole property.
it's not the whole property.
No.
Right,
So it's all, right, it's
Yeah.
within probably the 25-foot.
Again, those are performed right at the edge of the wetland to give a
Right.
wetland specialist the
Definition,
ability
right.
to define the line.
Right, exactly,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
And this is just what he found
In
In the
that-
between the
yes.
water and the flags.
Okay, right,
Yeah.
right,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, because we have both in this situation. We have a body of water where obviously no plants are growing up through significantly, but then you have that bordering vegetated wetland area
Yeah.
where these plants live.
Right.
Again, we're not touching any of those.
right, right.
So-
Yeah, right, so my question was like, if there were additional plants that were gonna be removed within the limit of work, maybe replace them, that was just my
Right.
concern.
Sometimes we do plant high bush blueberries when we're doing a wetland crossing and we're
Yeah.
replicating wetland,
Yeah, right.
which we're not having to do that in this
Right,
case.
Right, so these trees are
Those
being taken
trees are
out
gonna be-
in this
right.
area, but there's all the other stuff is what you're
Going
getting
in,
at.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
being taken out.
Upland plants for upland
In-
plants.
In this
In the
area.
group zone.
Right,
Right.
right, right.
Yeah. But we try to propose plants that will survive in that environment.
Yeah, and I think beneficial to the overall healthy habitat that.
Wildlife
this
habitat,
area
they
is,
provide that as well.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I remember like
Yeah.
the witch hazel, I think you were telling me, like, it was like right around here, as we were
Yeah.
going down the notch.
Yes.
You were saying, oh, check it out, it's blossoming, right, so,
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's
And
kind of
that's,
what you're getting
that's
at, like,
proposed
might there
on
be some other stuff you
Right.
can grow in, right?
Yeah.
the recommended replanting on the second page, Bonnie, recommended plantings.
Okay, so that's in there, yep, yep. Low bush, yep. Okay, American hazelnut, yeah, that's good. Yep, yeah, okay, all
Some
right.
blooming
Yep, that's
plants,
good.
different
Yep,
colors.
good. Yep, those are good native.
Yep.
Yep, yep.
And Neil, do you know how many total plants are in this, in
In the replication area
Yeah.
is mostly the shrubs that are there, so the high bush blueberries, the low bush blueberries, I'm sorry.
the juniper? and
Yep.
The
Get
little,
mine
the short
was-
honeysuckle.
Yep. And some, we could put in, we have a couple dogwoods there, I believe. The only ones that wouldn't be going in there are the rhododendron and the red maple.
Okay.
See the other one?
So the rhododendron and the red maple make up 13 of the 51, so you're dealing with about 38 plants in that 900 square feet.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And then we made a, in terms of like, chemical or salting of driveway, so so the order, within order will be sand only?
Yep. I think
Or-
that's a good idea.
A typical condition, yeah. Sand only on the portions of driveway within the buffer zone. That's acceptable.
And fertilizer on the lawn?
Yes.
I would say no phosphorus, right? I mean, that's typically what we don't want. you
That's
know.
pretty standard. It's not a lot of lawn there anyway, so
Yeah,
I'm sure that's fine.
Any other questions, comments, George?
Have some signs.
Yeah, signs
Yeah.
on posts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Many.
Should have quite a few, I would think.
How far do you like them spaced apart?
6 inches.
The Great Wall.
Yes. We might have to order some more signs.
I can donate mine, no. Only kidding. I want mine,
We've been doing every 10 or 15.
How long is the driveway? Neil? How long is the driveway?
Like 350, I think.
Yeah, and again, the first half of it is outside the buffer zone, and then we turn
Right.
in. So it's about 200 feet of driveway within the buffer zone.
So, let's see, this is.
1 inch is 20.
That's 20 feet, so.
About 200 feet.
Is every 30 or 40 feet enough, or, because we get the plantings in there too, we'll kind of have it act as a buffer.
What do you think, George?
So, every 50 feet along the driveway?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe 4 or 5 around the other sides of the house.
It's a pretty big area, right?
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
So 5 signs equally spaced,
What are we gonna have?
or
Wherever you tell them. whatever.
wherever I tell them, okay.
Do it during a site meeting,
Yeah.
prior to construction or mid-construction.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the limit of work.
Any other comments, questions from the commission?
Oh yeah, actually, one is where's I can't think of the right word, the pile. So when you dig,
Stockpile?
yeah, your stockpile, where is that located again?
Well, we don't have a designated spot. I mean, the foundation hole is gonna be kind of stockpiled here, because we're gonna be filling that area in front of the house.
Right,
So the stockpile area is gonna be pretty much just beside the house here, between the house and off the driveway. It's a logical spot.
like right in here.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you do it outside the buffer?
Well,
In that little? in
It's
that-
hard to drive, the
Yeah,
elevation
that's the
change is very steep for the trucks to
Okay.
get up there, so it doesn't, this is a little bit flatter right here.
All right.
So that's the most logical spot, and then again, there'll be probably some stockpile there, but that'll be just put in place because we need to fill there in front anyways.
Is there a slope from there down towards the pond in that location?
There is, yeah.
Maybe just a wattle around the base?
We can put a wattle around the stockpile, sure. Put it on the downhill side.
Yeah.
It's fair enough. Makes sense.
You're gonna have to cut in the
So if you could
driveway.
show that
Yep,
on a plan, please.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think so between your sequence, right, so on 4, excavate hole for new foundation to backfill foundation,
Mhm.
timing-ish,
Again, they
2 weeks?
it's probably a week or two by the time they let the concrete settle. They also then tar let that dry and then backfill. So, depending on what day they do it, it's probably not more than a week.
Okay.
For the soil pile being there?
The backfilling of the foundation.
Backfilling of the foundation. You'll still have a stockpile after that, more than likely.
Yeah, I mean, the only major excavation is the foundation wall, so.
Right.
And some of the material that might be needed for the driveway,
When
and
you're gonna-
depending on the,
When you cut in the driveway, there'll be a lot of,
right.
are they gonna cart out the topsoil from the
The
driveway?
topsoil is usually scraped, it's stockpiled on site and then
Okay,
reused,
And then reused.
yeah. Rather than shipping it out and buying new
Covered.
stuff.
Right, right.
Covered, that'll be in the conditions anyways.
Covered or stabilized if it sits around for more than, I forget how long.
Weekend.
Yeah, a weekend. small
minor
homeowner
activities.
project. Right. Um, I think I might ask one more time if the owner of the property has had any further thoughts to leaving this in conservation.
He is in attendance, and his son Jamie as well, so David Badger, and the last time I spoke to David, he has no interest in selling it to the town.
Okay, that's still the case? Okay, okay. Thought I'd ask.
Appreciate it.
Any other questions, comments? Are there comments from members in the audience?
Hi,
Please.
can I stay here, or do you want me to, last time I came up? Kelly Hart, 18 Hibiscus Lane. So it's hard for me because I can't see the paper with the trees, and that has been sort of my biggest concern with the plan is the trees that are being removed. I know we just overheard him saying about large pine trees, so the large pine trees are probably the thing that keep that site so vibrant and green. So I'm just wondering how many large pine trees are going to be taken out. And I know that there are some new plantings going in, which is great. But I'd also like to know like how big the red maples are going to be. Are they going to be very small red maples, and where there is so much ledge on the property, is that going to be a difficult process to dig planting holes for? And they're laid out very nicely here, but it's been said that it's not really known how much ledge is on the property, so how will that be handled?
So the number of
Oh,
pines are
sorry.
listed here. So pine trees, they're taking 13 down, and they're the sizes.
Okay. So some are pretty significant, 20 inches, 18 inches, 18 inches. Okay.
And then the installs, I think that said 2-inch caliper on the maples going in, right? If I remember correctly.
So that's this big?
2-inch
Well, that's what
diameter,
it-
just like.
2 inches, like this big?
That's right.
So that number may change with the change in the limit of work with pulling that southwest
Okay.
line, I'm sorry, southeast line in. I don't know.
And that's it, and that's this part right here, is that my
Yep.
understanding that you're talking right here?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess my other question is, has the size of the house changed at all? Because we're kind of under the impression that it wasn't as big as this. No,
We're
you
showing
don't
that
know that it
proposed house,
is?
nothing changes on that
Okay.
plan, for the plan. If it gets any bigger, we have to come back before the commission. If it gets smaller, we let them know, and it's usually if it's smaller, then it's okay.
We could ask for a couple of pine trees to be added to the new plantings.
Yep. Can we add a couple pine
We
trees?
can incorporate a few pine trees, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the maples, they grow quick, so.
Yeah, the maples do
Yeah.
grow quick and the pines do too. You want to say five new pine trees?
But that'll definitely help with the winter cover, so.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
evergreen, yeah.
Yep.
They're
Yeah,
accessible.
yeah, and I guess that's, now that you put it that way, I guess that's part of it, is the winter cover.
And I just like, we have about 13, I think, rhododendrons, which can grow to
Big.
20 feet tall.
Pretty
And
good
those
size.
are evergreen as well, and they're very thick, so that
Yep.
provides a lot of green up there as well.
So I'd say 5 pines at a minimum of 5 feet tall. Okay.
And as far as digging the trees in, it's, you don't know till you put the spade.
Trees are growing there now.
They're
so-
growing there.
Right, that's true, that's true.
If
So
it's a
if they-
piece of ledge, they won't plant a tree on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if we have to
it'll
adjust-
shift
So
here and there.
it'll shift,
Right.
okay.
I think
But they still
every
plan
effort
to-
is being made to,
I feel that,
yeah, good.
okay.
Any other comments, questions?
That's the end of mine.
Thank you
I think
very
we're
much.
good. Thank you.
Anyone else in attendance wish to speak? Are we looking at a motion?
Do we want to wait to see the revised plan before we vote? Or not?
I mean, I think, oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I think the revisions are minor, so, I mean, I'm confident we'll have that prior to your signing the order of conditions, but I'm comfortable with proceeding with the vote if contingent upon that revised plan.
What were, could you read back to me what the amendments would be, please?
Okay, so there would be the addition of signs, 5 around the sides of the house and every 50 feet along the driveway to be determined, location to be determined by Joanne.
The sign placer.
Or you pull back a little bit of that limit of work on the south-southeast side of the house. You said 10 or 15 feet?
Yeah.
Yes. And then addition of some pine trees to the plantings,
Mm-hmm.
putting a wattle. at
I have
the
a
base-
detail I can add for the stockpile.
Putting a wattle around the base of the downhill side of the soil stockpile.
I have all those written.
And showing the stockpile.
Right,
I'm
right.
showing you. And then conditions like no phosphorus-based fertilizer, sand, use of sand only on portions of the driveway within the buffer zone and salt. If there are any high bush blueberries within the clearing area, replace those. So,
Thank you. Do we want to wait and see changes before we vote?
as long as we have a revised plan before the
Yeah,
signing.
when we sign, yeah.
Yeah, seems fine to me.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Acceptable? So, motion to...
Motion to approve
NOI
NOI drafted order.
on DEP number 100-0439. So a motion to...
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your time and effort on this.
Thank you.
I'll be right back.
You don't want that in the meeting.
And motion to continue to December.
Motion to continue the hearing to December 5th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next item. Public hearing NOI, Lot 5A, Wright Road, DEP file number to be assigned, no number.
That has a number, I believe.
Maybe 4-8.
You got it?
No.
Oh.
But I think it's probably 4-8.
The last one was 4, 3.9. Do we have a 3.8? We have 3.7 for Shaker Mill.
And then 3.9 was the one we just did.
Well, so maybe this is 3.8.
I usually print it out.
I usually remember to put it on the agenda. However.
Like all my paper I have for you?
Yeah, let's do that. It's all mine.
It's just yours.
That's an old one. I don't have any current ones.
'Cause I know we had it on this one originally.
Yeah.
Well, I know we have it in the office.
Here it is. 3.8, 438.
Great.
Thank you.
I'm a paper collector.
Me too, and it's a problem.
Okay. So I am Neil Gorman from David E. Ross Associates, representing Joseph McGuan, who's here with me. And I know that also in attendance are some friends of his that are in support of this project. So we thank them for coming out. I'm not sure if they'll have comments for you later in the meeting. The last meeting was continued. We were requested to submit the DEP data forms, which I did do that as well. If you need copies of that, I have a handful of copies here. Mark, thank you. And we did submit some revised plans. You can keep these after. Just a couple minor revisions to the plan based on our last meeting. Mark had some good questions about the infiltration or recharge trench along the boulder wall. So we've incorporated in the plan view and in the detail to put a 40 mil polyethylene barrier, which is an impervious barrier, between the trench and the boulders themselves, and that will be keyed into the existing soil below. So that'll prevent the water from going through and keeping the integrity of the wall that much stronger. It'll direct the water downward rather than through the wall.
Through the wall, yep.
Another discussion that was brought up was, could we add some more plantings? And we have added another, we've added 5 rhododendron plants inside the vegetated buffer, so those will be hand planted, scattered in through that area to again add some more evergreen and some height. Again, they can grow pretty tall with the right conditions. So we've increased our plantings from the previous meeting. We added that barrier. Other than that, the plan is the same. So with the data forms, the new plantings, and the barrier, Mr. McGuan and I believe we've got a plan that we're satisfied with, and we hope the commission is satisfied with as well.
The crosshatch area?
Is that where the rhododendrons are going? Is that
No, the rhododendrons are these new plantings. They're kind of a smaller, dark symbol. They're scattered in the 25-foot buffer. 4, 5. And I added them to the list as well. Those are going along with some of the red maples that we're planting along there as well.
What does that crosshatch represent?
The crosshatch in the back in the mitigation plantings are the other shrubs that we're proposing to be planted in the list of plantings, like I think there's
Trees.
some dogwood trees and some hazelnut, some juniper. Again, we're creating a little bit of a slope there, so we're kind of stabilizing that area that's being disturbed behind the house. And again, the topography is all going in that direction towards that back corner, so that'll add another layer of infiltration and to slow down any surface water as it's heading down towards the wetland, and to help stabilize that slope.
So everything else that's on this, the planting matrix here or whatever, that's all going in the hatched area?
In the hatched area,
It is? Okay.
except for, well, the rhododendrons and the red maples are in the vegetated buffer, the 25-foot strip between the wetland and where we're proposing our work.
Okay.
Did you get a square footage of the clearing proposed?
Oh, right, shoot. I did not. I forgot my scale too.
I can go grab a scale.
Okay, that'd be great, thank you.
Any other questions or comments while Joanne's getting her scale?
You talked about pulling the lawn back in this area, so it doesn't come all the way to the road.
In front?
Oh, yeah, in the front.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah, just, we need to show it. Just-
Okay.
And Neil, just to confirm, so the 40 mil polyethylene, that's totally impervious?
Yeah, it's pretty thick black plastic that we use all the time in septic designs.
Okay.
It's an allowable impervious barrier that we can put as near as 5 feet to a leaching system,
Okay.
which removes the ability for anything to migrate too far. It hits that and then it goes down.
And the life
Typically, how long does
expectancy,
it last?
life of that?
Oh, it's, yeah,
It's long.
It's long, yeah. It's a pretty thick, very heavy, rigid plastic that they stand vertically and they key it into the natural ground.
So where is that going to be located? So you have the,
So you have your boulder wall,
okay.
and then the barrier, and then your infiltration trench.
So there's not going to be a space between the barrier and the trench, just but the polyethylene?
Right, and then the stone of the trench is wrapped in a filter fabric. So we got 100 feet of depth there, right, Joanne? Down the middle.
Yep.
And then probably an average of 75 feet of width.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's about 7,500 square feet.
Okay, so well under.
Under the 10,000 minimum, right. Or 10,000 trigger point for site plan review with the town. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, going back to the polyethylene barrier.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, boulder walls when you put up sprinkling of dirt, any dirt at all, and then the barrier, or the barrier right up against
Just
the
the
wall?
barrier right up against the wall.
Okay, just trying to understand that.
Yeah.
And
It'll,
then-
it'll conform to the wall with the stone that
Yeah.
goes up against
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah,
just
I mean,
like-
Right, it'll get pushed against the boulder wall
With
by
the stone.
by the stone
Okay.
and the filter fabric.
Okay.
You only see it if you really look through the wall. But they can always put smaller stones in the voids there. Too. Not going to be seen. That's a commonly used product for leaching systems and septic designs.
Any other questions, comments from the commission?
So I'm still, I have to admit, I was on the fence last time and I've sort of gone over the fence. So, relooking at the GIS maps and where this property sits between Sandy Pond and the National Heritage, with a large growing wetland upstream of what you guys claim is an intermittent stream.
That's how it's mapped.
Yeah, I know. It is a wetland arc. It really hasn't been, I think, accurately defined. I think you really need a wetland scientist to actually define whether that is truly an intermittent stream or a stream, because it is actually on the map.
Yeah, that's not an official USGS map.
I
A
know.
USGS map dictates perennial versus intermittent.
Right, so it is a wetland arc, and a wetland arc at times can be defined as a stream depending on the times it flows during the year. I mean, it could be, it's four.
When we were out there, was it dry?
Yeah, but it's four consecutive, it's four
4 days in a
times.
year.
4 days within a consecutive 12-month period. So you could go up in May, it could be running. You could go up in April, it could be running. You could go up in June, it could be running.
No,
If it's
that's
4
intermittent.
times, it could, no, it's more than 4 times.
No, it has to be dry just 4 times a year in a 12-month period to be considered intermittent. A perennial stream runs all the time except for those 4 days. I mean, or, I'm saying,
Yeah,
it's
it
not
would be-
mapped as a USGS perennial stream, and that's one of the first criteria you look at.
But then it
So-
also has to meet that test.
That test, right, has to
And-
meet that test.
And it has
The
to-
watershed test.
The water,
Right,
stream
right,
stats,
right.
watershed test,
Right,
which
right.
sadly it doesn't, I ran stream stats on it, it doesn't have a big enough watershed.
There we go.
Yeah.
I tried.
That's
Again.
only running in the spring. I mean, I've never.
It's truly an intermittent stream.
So it is a corridor, you know, it's a corridor. I really am having a really difficult time, because of its proximity to adjacent areas that are, you know, critical wildlife habitat.
Surrounded by other
I own another 80 feet beside that. You know, on the other side of that stream, that's fully wooded. And along with the 25-foot, yeah, along with the stream, I don't know
Yeah.
how wide the stream is. And then you have another 25 feet. I mean, there's over 100 feet that is heavily wooded,
Right, I mean, you know.
in addition to that.
Right, and it's the proximity, it's 25 foot, you know, from, you know, the key mark, you know, wetland border. If it were 50 feet away, I think I would have a different opinion if it were 50 feet away. But since it's so close,
From the wetland?
I mean, from the board, from the flagged.
Are we 35 feet away?
From the
with the-
wetland.
I mean, I know the USGS maps that are printed, that is used as the guide in Wetland Protection Act as to delineating streams. There's usually a darker blue line, which is the perennial stream, and lighter blue lines, which are intermittent streams.
Intermittent, right.
This doesn't, our locus map that we submitted with our notice of intent does not have either a dark blue or a light blue line in that area.
So why
It's
did-
just the topography of it.
Why did these maps?
That, I don't know where that's from, that's Mass
This
GIS.
is Mass GIS.
Right, but that's, that's from the Mass GIS too, but that's the official USGS map that they use in the Wetlands Protection Act. It says, refer to the USGS quads, and we
Right.
do.
So why is this coming up on?
Because I don't know,
GIS?
you can turn on 1,000 layers in those GIS maps and get all sorts of, there's a line that's called a hydrological connection that turns up blue. It looks like a stream, but it's, you gotta look at, I don't know where they printed that, I don't know what that is defined as. But the USGS map has been the standard used to determine perennial versus intermittent. And if there's a question of a perennial stream being intermittent, then you go through the process of how many days it's dry, and you evaluate that. But we don't even have a blue line in the area on the USGS map, so it's not even in question as to whether it's a stream or not.
I'm not sure that's entirely true, because we know it needs a culvert to get under Joe's driveway, so.
And there's a culvert under the road,
And
so
the
the
road.
water meanders that way. Yes, I understand that there is signs of an intermittent thing. What I'm saying is, it's definitely not perennial, in my opinion, simply because there would be a dark blue line on this map saying it's a perennial stream. She looked at the watershed, which it does not meet that criteria, so it doesn't have those two
Right.
significant factors, so.
But it still does need to meet the 4-day dry test to be completely, it needs
No.
to.
In a year?
Because it's not designated as a perennial stream. If it was designated as and mapped as a perennial stream, then we have to disprove it by saying it's dry 4 days,
Yeah,
I think it's the,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think on that.
If it's a defined and named or unnamed but defined stream on a USGS map, and we are debating whether it's intermittent or perennial,
Right.
then we have to go out and prove that it's dry so many days to disqualify it as a perennial stream, along with other factors. We don't even have that definition of a perennial stream, so there's no need to disqualify it as being perennial, because it's not defined as perennial on the mapping that we are supposed to use. So I don't think you can reverse it and call it a perennial stream when it's not even mapped by the state as perennial.
And yet it needs culverts to cross roads, so.
A lot of wetlands have culverts. I have a culvert under my driveway, but that's to allow the surface water to move, but a perennial stream has a lot of criteria to be, and we don't even meet the first two, which is the watershed, that you need to have enough water to create a stream. And it's not mapped by Massachusetts as being as such, so I don't think I think it's a moot point. It's not a perennial stream. It's an intermittent stream, which is considered with the wetlands, the same protection, doesn't carry any higher standards of buffer zones, like a perennial stream does.
Any other comments about that aspect of being a stream?
I'm accepting it as an intermittent stream, but again, with the slopes and the amount of fill proposed and the amount of clearing, sympathetically, I just can't put my signature to this one, so.
And I just, if I may, our company was before, I mean, some people ask, why are you designing on such a small lot? So close to wetland. Well, just 2 years ago, we got a similar plan approved on Jonathan Drive, which I have on the board there, where the house was 15 feet away from the wetland. The driveway was about 10 feet. A retaining wall was built right at the edge of the wetland. They only proposed a little infiltration trench near the driveway, and that's been approved, built, and a sign-off. And when clients come to us and they say, well, can I build on this? When we look on what precedent's been set by previous designs, there's one right there that's on, that lot's a little bit bigger, but the actual buildable area is quite similar to our size.
Buildable area, but not downhill to a great pond. That's part of my thing. I think that's part of yours.
Well, I think it's the totality of, I think, the overall area. I think it's providing, it's providing a lot of benefit. Unfortunately, we have to live in the world with other things, right?
Well, I know Joe and I have talked about it. We don't see any other changes that can be made to this design, and this is what the design they'd like you to vote on.
Any other comments from the commission?
Signs every 50 feet along the west side.
What was that?
Signs every 50 feet along the west side.
I was speaking with a resident
Just
today about this
posts with signs
project,
saying
and
don't temper.
we thought if there was ever a time where an annual inspection of an infiltration trench was called for in perpetual conditions, this might be that time, just to make sure that the surface of the trench doesn't become.
Clogged.
Yep.
Who inspects that? Who would inspect that?
That would probably be the agent of the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
Or the homeowner can, I mean, in our plan, we're talking about that to be maintained twice a year, so. Spring, after a long winter, and then in the fall when all the leaves before winter hit, so the prime times to do that.
No
so.
problem there.
It's noted on the plan, and we can complete that inspection.
And we can provide a, proof of the inspection to you, and if you want to stop by and look, you're welcome to. That's something that can be done.
Yeah, I think in this case, that's probably a really good idea, because that's a very hard-working infiltration trench that,
And we don't want it to be compromised, so.
no, absolutely don't want it compromised.
Okay. I'm sure that's agreeable to us.
Anything else? Any comments from people that are in attendance?
Yep, we've got people
Oh, I'm sorry.
coming up.
I didn't see that.
No eyes in the back of your head? No eyes in the back of your head?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you state your name, please?
I'm Carolyn McCrary. I'm Susan Tordello. She's going first, so. So, you know, we were here last month and we brought a petition signed by over 42 neighbors and there were, well, I shouldn't say neighbors, people in town, plus a few extras were here. And I just wanted to remind you of that petition, that, you know, we think this is the wrong place to build a house because of the slope, because of the access to Sandy Pond, because neighbors downstream have a well, because it's on an ACEC, area of critical environmental concern. And if we can't take care of our ACECs, you know, what good is the designation? So I'm just here to remind you of that, and also to tell you that I walked up that intermittent stream today, which gave me wet feet, and to the beaver pond that holds water back, so that, you know, if the beaver pond weren't there, it might be flowing more consistently.
Thank you.
So I live on Sandy Pond also, and I know several CONSCOM members live on the waterfront, so you understand the delicate nature and what goes into it. I'm really curious about the map differential. So Mr. Ross said it's just that your map went closer, it had a better view.
It's a different layer. It's a different layer that was applied to the map that brought up the
So with more detail.
Right, because the beaver pond upstream is a huge wetland system.
Right.
It drains downhill,
Right.
down through the culvert, and into that wetland area into Sandy Pond.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
That's what a blue line looks like on the USGS map for a stream, and we're over in this area.
Right,
There's no blue lines.
right. But the beaver pond is above it, and it's been there for a long, long time, right?
Right.
Like longer than we've been around. So I'm also curious about this wall that has to be cleaned out twice a year. This sounds like a chore nobody wants to do. And so what if someone remembers to make the inspection and says, well, you have to clean it out? And how is that gonna, can you help me understand how that's gonna happen going forward for the next, 100, 200 years?
It clearly is up in the future to the homeowners to maintain that section of their property, which they probably will maintain the rest of their property, rake it, whatever needs to be done. Can't predict the future.
Well, I wonder if that's going to be in the deed now. If it's just in this kind of a document, maybe is there a way you can put it in the deed and enforce that? I guess, this is a critical area that, leads into a great pond, as we've been saying. It seems like they're just going to a lot of steps to squeeze this in and to make it work. And to what end? Like, can they show how Ayer will benefit from this? Or is it just, one homeowner, one family that's going to benefit from just squeezing one more house in a critical area that is not 50 feet, it's 25 feet. The house is going to be built 25 feet from the creek?
35
No,
from the
yeah.
wetland.
35.
From the wetland,
Right, yeah,
not the intermittent part.
right. So you have the power to vote it down, right? And then they can appeal it, is that how it goes?
Here's the power, we can vote it down, and they can appeal, we can approve it, and a group of 10 or more residents can appeal. Goes to the state,
To the DEP,
DEP.
yeah. So, the native people, this company 7th Generation, why it's called that, it's because native people, when they do something, they think how it's going to affect 7 more generations. So generations, what, about 20 years, 25 years?
33 years.
33? Okay, so that's 240 years ahead. Can we look ahead and say, is this going to benefit the area in 240 years? And I guess it's up to you all to make that decision. I encourage you to protect the wetland, and they already got 2 houses, sold another lot. How much more is necessary, I guess.
It's really not your business, is it?
Well, it is my business, and I think he's out of order, Mr. Chair.
And we need to speak respectfully.
Yeah. So that's why we have a town and we have a governmental process so that people can be heard. Because what our neighbors do is important and it does impact the pond. So I urge you to vote against it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Yeah, I'd like to speak.
Please state your name.
Timothy Dolan. I own property at 25 Wright Road in Ayer, right on the pond itself. Mr. McGuan is from Ayer. Mr. McGuan's sisters live on the pond down in Ayer. He is selling the house to his brother, who wants to live in this lot. Mr. McGuan lives downstream from this piece of property right here. Mr. McGuan's parents were in Ayer. They own property down in this same area down there. There is no incentive to do anything bad here. No incentive whatsoever. What's going to happen in 250 years? Who knows? There's a lot of things around the pond that probably alert a lot of us, but we don't bring it to these types of meetings, right? If you have a problem with, hey Joe, something that's kind of a tight lot over there, why don't we bring it up? Why don't we, talk to you about how we can best figure this lot in so legally it's your lot and we can do this instead of this black and white no and yes. Okay, that's my position on it. I'm totally for it. I've known these people forever and they will take care of the property.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
Hello.
Please state your name, please.
Yep, I'm Kevin Bresnahan. I live at 4 Wachusett Ave East, also on the pond. And likewise, I came in support of this project, and frankly, I'm just very upset about what this has deteriorated into. As Mr. Dolan mentioned, and by the way, as everybody on this side of the room came in support of this project, most all of which live on the pond or are a direct abutter, the Quigleys, the Sloans, the Burns, Julie, all of these people are direct abutters. The Callahans live directly on the pond and they all came in support of this project. And I don't want to speak for everybody, please do come, but my uncle is clearly doing everything he possibly can to work with the town to protect this lake that he grew up on. That many of this, I grew up on this lake. I'm the third generation, I'm raising the fourth generation. And nobody wants, many of these people are multiple generations that grew up on this lake. None of us, nobody in this town are more interested in preserving this lake than the people that you see in this room. But the biggest thing that we're upset about is how our community, our neighborhood of Sandy Pond, it's what it's deteriorating into. Right? So Ms. Tordella and Ms. Carolyn McCrary, apparently their approach now is to attack neighbors through the Conservation Committee. Before, we actually used to, excuse me, now you're out of order. Before, we used to talk to each other. We were neighbors. We worked together to preserve the lake. Ms. McCreary lives on a property that I remember when Mr. Hyde, that built her home, put up the current house that Mr. McCreary is in, and the 30+ trees came down. It was upsetting to a lot of us. My grandfather, even though he was upset about it, granted the variance because she's within 10 feet of my property. I now live on the cottage where my grandfather granted that variance. He did it because we were neighbors and we tried to work together. And it's extremely upsetting. There are people here in the room that will attest to Ms. Tordella and others that now try to resolve issues by just attacking their neighbors and bringing it to the Conservation Committee. It's extremely unfortunate, it's upsetting. I've had multiple different neighbors that did sign this supposed petition come up to me, come up to my parents, come up to my uncle, and apologize. They did not know what they were signing. They were told one version of the story. They said explicit to me that they did not see until they actually came to the meeting everything that the McGuans are doing to go in above and beyond to protect this lake. And I honestly, there is so much more that we can do to work together as a community to protect this lake, rather than devolving into this, right? There was an environmental study on the lakes done in 2016. And if you look at all of the bioretention cells that were recommended in that study, one is directly on my property. I would be so happy to do that on my own rather than rely on the town to maintain that. You come to me as a community, let's work together to look at what can we do to protect this lake. Bioretention cells on my property. If you look at this room, there are people that are on Sedgway, on Standish, on Wright Road, and 25 Wright Road, that we will all work together, whether it's a bioretention cell, planting trees, doing whatever we can to protect this lake. Nobody will work harder for this. This is not the appropriate way to work together to preserve a lake, right? My uncle is willing to do anything and everything he can for this. So that's primarily the message. He's doing everything he can. All of these people are in support of this project. Don't belay this anymore. Let's actually try to work together, come to us with what we can do on each of our properties to help preserve this lake, and you will find nobody more willing to do this. Thank you.
I don't believe a difference of opinion is attacking a person.
But so the question was, who's going to maintain this? There are no more people invested in maintaining this over as long as we are on this property. We want our kids to take our house. I took my family's house. We all want to preserve this lake. So if the question is who's going to maintain this, I promise you, as long as we are all on this lake, which we've been here for now 3, 4, 5, 4 generations, I don't even know how long the Cornelius and Callians have been on this lake.
Long time.
We will do whatever we can to preserve this property. This is not the way to go about it.
I'm sorry, please.
Kevin, I understand your frustration. I do want to say I don't believe that either Susan or Carolyn has been before this committee complaining on any other thing before, so there's no pattern of attack.
There's people in this room that will attest different to that.
Nobody's come to this committee. You're saying attacking through the Conservation Commission. You can check our minutes. That's just not the case outside of this project.
If anybody's had to come before this committee because of complaints, could you just raise your hand?
It wasn't my complaint. I was on the Conservation Commission when you went into the waterway and violated the agreement. I was a member of the commission. I did not bring it forward.
But again, let's work together. Let's work together.
Not germane to-
Let me just say, I think this is a difficult parcel. I think one way or the other, it's going to wind up with Mass DEP to make the final decision through appeal, either through Mr. McGuan or through concerned residents. All I'm saying for myself is because it's such a difficult parcel with the slopes, with the amount of fill, several feet of fill being brought in, and the proximity to a stream and pond, I just personally cannot sign off on this one.
But so the
That's not
decision,
personal.
Jess, I respect you and I appreciate everything that this committee does. Bonnie, right? I respect all of you. But you have a choice here, that you can continue down an adversarial path or we can try to work together. Right?
So Kevin,
to resolve all of these challenges.
So Kevin, I have to speak. So when I look at a plan, I don't see you guys in the audience. I am impartial. What I see is I look at the plan, I look at what Jess just said, the extent of what has to happen to build a house in a very sensitive area. And I read like when you got up at town meeting, I felt really horrible because I felt like you called me stupid at town meeting.
And how did I, wait a second.
No, listen, I read the documents, I go, I spend weekends basically going over the Wetlands Protections Act. I try to figure out what is the right thing And what is the, like, not the right, but what is what is Mass DEP? What are they writing in their regs? What does it mean? How to decipher it? And then how to apply the law. This is the law this is our Massachusetts law. How to decipher it when it comes to this. And I'm totally being impartial. And I'm saying to you that, like Jess said, this is a very sensitive lot. It's a sensitive building project. It's within an ACEC. It's really on a very sensitive wetland system. It's got huge mature trees that eagles, osprey, lots of wildlife use to basically go between Sandy Pond and in the upland woods. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying, as a scientist, as a person who's reading the regs, that's what I'm trying to figure out. And what I'm saying to you, it doesn't make like complete sense to me to vote yes on this project.
So I should be able to respond, correct?
True, yes.
You should never say to
Through
me
the
that.
chair.
Through the chair.
During the town meeting, I took exception with two things. One, I didn't think the right of appeal was correct because I thought the land court has provided information in the past that was very useful, and I believe I saw nods when I said that. I prefaced everything with saying, I completely value and respect everything that the Conservation Committee does. Again, I'm not an anti-environmentalist. I want more than anybody to preserve this lake that I grew up in and enjoyed, and my kids are enjoying right now. So, in no way, shape, or form did I ever say anything that members that brought that forward were in any way stupid. That's not. That is a complete uncalled for
You said they were not
attack.
trained. They were not
No,
trained.
I said
to
there's
basically
another
read
resource.
read
I said
the-
you're not a full-time employee like some Massachusetts.
Right.
You do this as through volunteer
so
work.
then DEP
We
can.
need to stop.
Right.
This is going on first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I'm impartial when I basically make a.
I don't know about that because
make a
because
decision.
Intermenton. I grew up on this lake. That stream is dry almost 300 days of the year.
Again,
Mr. Chairman,
again, we need-
point
we
of
need
order. I think we need to bring the meeting back to the plan on the table.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, can I come back up? Thank you.
Please.
So we thank everybody for their input. I just wanted to put a little closing statement is, we understand we're in a buffer zone, yes. And as I mentioned in my last meeting, a buffer zone is not necessarily a no disturb zone under the Wetlands Protection Act. That's dealing with the 100-foot riverfront area of perennial streams, which I believe we've proven that this is not a perennial stream. So it's not necessarily a no build zone. It's build safely zone, kind of a way to put it. That is the proposed project during construction going to impact the resource area, which is the wetland. And those provisions are put in place with the process to build, the siltation barriers. That wetland will not be impacted because of that. Post-construction, we have these infiltration trenches to collect all roof runoff, driveway runoff, also kind of intercepting some of the road runoff in some locations to recharge that water before it goes back into the groundwater, which ultimately ends up in the wetland. We have a maintained and improved 25-foot buffer zone, vegetated buffer zone. We've added more plantings. There's not a significant amount of fill being brought in. I know that's been brought up. Yeah, it is a sloping site, but to dig the foundation hole, that the material that we dig from the foundation hole is going to end up as being placed in front of the house and somewhat behind the house, just to kind of hide some of the concrete foundation to make it more natural looking. So my client and I would request that we just kind of vote to close the hearing and take a vote.
Any comments?
We just recap what changes we asked for tonight.
And I will certainly provide a revised plan if so chosen as part of the condition. With the requested front lawn not be so close to the road.
You had one more comment.
I feel that you have a public process and you all spend a lot of time doing this. as volunteers, and I really respect that. And this is our process, this is for our community. And I feel attacked and upset that this has been made so personal and that it's family against family, and someone says we should all work together, and this is the process we have to work together. So I hope going forward, we can keep it less personal and see what is the best thing for the watershed, what is the best thing for our community, and how this will impact our community in the long run.
All right, then talk to your neighbors.
That's why we're here. This is the process.
Do you have those?
And I do thank the commission's time. They put a lot of time and effort into this. Thank you.
Okay, so we're adding,
Every 50 feet?
Right.
every 50 feet.
Pulling back disturbance, pulling back the lawn from the
Pulling
from
back
the
lawn
road.
from the road.
Did
We discussed,
George, did you have
discussed
how
change,
much
that
wanted
change to
the lawn to come
the
back?
recharge
No.
trench. We didn't make that change, but just acknowledging the impervious barrier. Adding, did you add some trees?
We added rhododendrons, 5.
Yeah, reading my handwriting on the spot is not good.
We did want to make it perpetual on the cleaning of the trench.
All right, perpetual on inspection and cleaning of trench.
As noted on the plan.
And we could even add that there would be a fine if that's not.
Well, we have that, no matter what, on anything, so,
Right, that'd be, right. If it's not done properly, then that's
yeah, we have that. covered, no matter what.
enforcement order already. Okay.
Any others?
I think that's it.
Is there a motion to approve the NOI Lot 5A Wright Road DEP file number 100-0438?
So moved, contingent on getting a revised plan with those details.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay?
Nay.
I'm voting no.
So that's, and Neil, you understand the appeal process, so you
No.
can guide it.
How many days do we have?
10 days from,
What was the vote? Was it
yeah,
3-3?
3 to 2, 3 to 2.
3 to 2
against?
Yeah. So, okay. Well, thanks again for your time.
All right, next item.
Just one
Yes.
final comment on this. We're going to need to write up a fairly detailed denial with all the facts in case this goes to appeal.
So you could do that and then circulate it.
Separate from the minutes or part of the minutes?
Separate.
And this one would close the public hearing.
Yeah.
Ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing on 5A Wright Road, 100-0438.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next item, public hearing, NOI, Town of Ayer, Pine Meadow Conservation Area. Pardon?
Can I make one suggestion?
Please.
Because that's just between us, and we have somebody here to talk about the oil spill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
could,
could we
yep.
just rearrange that?
Of course.
Nothing like an old oil spill to add a little brevity to the meeting.
Hard to believe that would do it, right?
Yeah.
Good evening, members of the commission.
Good evening.
Forget to state your name for,
Yes, Greg Morand, Omni Environmental Group. I have some handouts. Forgive me for kind of the rush of making these come together tonight. I didn't have the office administrator with me. I've got one more. Yep. Okay. So really just wanted to come before the commission tonight to sort of provide a status of restoration and replication activities in the wetland area, as well as touch upon the regulatory status with Department of Environmental Protection waste site cleanup, and also just review the 3 outstanding issues that the Conservation Commission as well as Ecotech brought to our attention back in July at a site meeting that we had. And forgive me for not addressing this to the proper chairman tonight. I apologize for that.
You're 2 chairmen behind.
I recognize
That's how long it's been.
that's just so out of date. So forgive me. I am happy to say that the regulatory status with DEP is that we did file our Ayer immediate response action completion and permanent solution with no conditions report with the state on the 30th of September. And I believe that the town probably would have seen a couple of public involvement communications come through noting that fact. And as well, we also provided notice of permanent solution to the town, to the school, as well as to all of the property owners that were impacted within the wetland area. I'm providing a link here to where the public document's available for download, and I also did email that link to Joanne. She may have already downloaded that report. From there, I just wanted to touch upon, I think it's maybe 7 or 8 items under the order of condition that we feel are at least ongoing or awaiting some comment from the commission. Item number 23 was to be able to leave all E&S controls in place until we've received a certificate of completion from the commission. And we just want to note that all of the E&S controls do still remain on the site, as well as the demarcation of the limits of work. And that once we do have the certificate of completion, we would anticipate going out, removing those, and leaving behind the biodegradable portion of the erosion control socks that are at the site. Secondly, item number 36 was, you may recall, you requested a replication plan, a restoration plan from us. We provided that to you through Ducharme and Dillis on November 8th. We've provided that as attachment 2. And really what I wanted to touch upon was the replication discussion that we had. Essentially, we proposed a certain replication in the plan, and the commission, along with Ecotech, came back to us in an email on the 15th of November, which is also an attachment 2, but I've summarized here as points 36I and 36II, which was essentially the commission came back and said we have 2 choices for replication, which was 1, develop a representative percent cover for woody plant material and follow that percentage, or 2 was to replicate woody material on a 6 to 8 foot center in the areas of disturbance. And we had selected option 2. You may recall, and as is shown in the site plan that we provide much toward the back, it's the only 11 by 17 fold out that'll come out of the attachment here. We had essentially 32 remediation cells that were roughly 40 by 40. And so if we took a 7-foot on center planting over a 40 by 40 cell, assuming 100% of that was high ground to plant on, that would result in roughly 25 woody plantings per cell. And under the assumed 40% red maple, 40% winterberry, and 20% let's see, what is SA? I'm losing that right now. Speckled alder. That would come up with roughly 960 units in the total 32 cells. But really what we had out there is a significant amount of drainage channel and low-lying wet area, such that I think it's probably more appropriate to assume we had a 70% high ground hummock within our 32 cells total, such that I would see that we probably would be closer to 670 units total of replication planting. And as you can see from the table that's just behind our plan, we did two checks of the cells, one in July and one in November. And from the July inspection with very lush, dense, tall vegetation,
So green, so very green.
which is good.
Yes.
We were really only able to identify 322 plants, which would be either 34% of the theoretical 100% coverage, or it would be roughly 50% of what we felt the average total planting coverage would be. Going back in November, we took a subset of 6 cells that we could more clearly define coverage in, and we were able to see 93 total plants in those 6 cells, which extrapolated across the 32 would give us between 50% theoretical and 73% average total coverage.
What was that percentage again? No, you just said.
I'm sorry, between roughly 50 and 73%. And 50 would be at the theoretical 100%, everything is plantable. As you know, there were a lot of low areas and drainage channels where the contractors felt they had to really restrict to the hummocks and higher ground areas for those plantings to be able to survive.
So it was 75% anyway, so
Right. So
you're back to kind of around that number.
more or less at the number that we want to be at, I feel. So the wetlands have been inspected nearly weekly since we completed response actions in January. I tried to append most of the post-remedial site inspections to these submittals, and we really see that the wetland growth has rebounded well. The plantings, as far as we could see, you know, there was a subset of the plantings that appeared still kind of woody and dead at the inspection. But the ones that did show growth appeared to be doing well, and certainly the wetland seed mix really appears to have won the day in terms of the density of growth that we've seen through this season. So I put a photo log together as attachment 5, and in there you can see most of the photos are from sort of October, November, so it's not so much the lush growth anymore, but just trying to show the density of the seed mix and some of the difficulty that we have right now in being able to identify all of the woody species. You know, while we do see good coverage in the woody species, as I just discussed, I have to note that there is a substantial disparity between what Trident brought in and planted versus what we can see right now. We needed around the theoretical coverage was 960 plantings, and I believe from the email documentation I have, Trident ordered and brought in over 1,000 and only had 20 remaining back at their shop at the end of the program. So we would expect that there was about 1,000 plantings put in the ground, and you know, at this time we're certainly not able to count that many, but we feel that that's more a reflection of the wetland seed mix and the density, as opposed to they died and we can't see evidence of their planting.
Right, well, and they were big when they went in, so
Yeah.
I think once we get some snow and all that
Agreed.
Dry grass gets
Trampled down a bit.
yeah,
I think we'll have a better.
we'll be able to see what's
Yep,
what and do the scratch test to see if it's dead or alive.
that's right.
Yep.
So that brings us to item 38 under the order of conditions. Any areas considered to be to revegetate naturally shall be reviewed and approved by the commission. to our understanding, the only areas that we agreed to for there would be the area of the access road and the staging locations of the mats.
Yep.
And all of those do appear to be coming back very well.
Yeah, beautifully,
Yeah.
really. It's, yeah.
Item 40, satisfactory restoration of the bank to the down gradient channel of water flow through the wetlands. As authorized by the Commission and Ecotech, we backfilled the eastern and western drainage channels with 1.5-inch crushed stone, and backfilling of the outfall behind behind number 112 Washington, excuse me, consisted of the crushed stone, and then we took the larger stones that we had removed from the outfall and then placed them back to help with breaking the velocity out of the outfall down into the two channels. So we do feel as though we've met that item, but I have one more point to that before I finish tonight. Item 45 was to prevent invasive species being established. They requested that we plant between mid-September and mid-November. I think the Commission probably knows, but I just wanted to acknowledge here, due to the schedule of remedial activities, the plantings were actually conducted between December and January of this year. That brings us to end of construction points. Number 48 was upon completion of the project and within 2 years of completion of replication, we shall submit for a certificate of compliance, and we acknowledge that we still need to do that, and that would be something forthcoming in 2021 following the final leaf-off inspection and assuming all other items have been addressed. The written statement from the professional engineer is something, again, that will be forthcoming in 2021. But under 48C, we do want to at least advise that we do have Ducharme and Dillis working now on the as-built topo plan for the area, and we're hoping that that's going to be completed sometime by December, and that we would have that for the Commission by January of next year. Under item D, we have got Ducharme and Dillis working on the final restoration plan. They were going to initiate that the week of December 2nd, and we certainly would be prepared to pass forward to the Commission what the either completed or draft plan is. Depending on weather conditions, they may or may not need to extend that into the spring. So certainly, whether we get an interim or a final, we'll provide that to the Commission once we've had a chance to review it and ensure its completeness. And then lastly, under item E, we did conduct our initial leaf-off inspection last week. Unfortunately, there was still more dense vegetation and leaf coverage than we would have hoped for in that area, so we're thinking that we're going to do a supplemental the week of December 2nd. And we would think that on or before January 3rd, we'd have our first leaf-off inspection report to the Commission for review. Lastly would be the 3 outstanding items from our July 2019 inspection. There were 3 items I think that Joanne and Paul at least wanted to think about some more and discuss. And the first was a low point along the access road. If you look at the 11 by 17 drawing, really it would be the area of this blue hashed temporary access road, probably from maybe cell 24 to maybe cell 8, about along the blue path there, where in our opinion this was a very kind of low area of the site before the access mats went in. But to Joanne and to Paul's inquiry, they wondered whether some of the traffic across the matting might have created some hydraulic dredging or something like that might have lowered that area. And so I provided some photos to Joanne prior, but I attached them here to photo log 5, really starting at I believe it would be photo 8 and working through photo 11. Photo 8 shows on October 12th we were Trident was initially in this area trying to cut down some of the trees that would come through the temporary access area. And you can see that even on that day, we were taking some of those cut logs and trying to use them to raise up through the wetness where we were going to place the mats down. Photo 9 would show that just a week later, we had put in the mats about up into this location of where photo 8 shows, and even by that point, we had tried to add some riprap to the, I guess it would be eastern and western sides of the access mat to try to keep some of this natural water flowing under the mats and keep the machinery above that area. Photo 10 would show the erosion and sediment controls that were installed in a similar location and showing some of that deeper water that we were having to deal with before we even really started to cut any of the vegetation out. And then lastly, photo 11 is really more of the same, showing us bringing in more of the riprap to try to control some of that water and minimize the amount of, I guess, hydraulic dredging, for lack of a better term, that the machinery would cause as it traversed over this area.
Is with the mats going up and down and
Eventually, all of that lumber, all of that timber that we put in and all of that riprap just was sunk under the water through the sheer number of loads going across the area and the volume of water that was really present in this location. So I guess it's my long-winded way of saying I'm not sure what else we could have done, and I feel that the function of that location of the site it still serves its primary function, and I don't know that we've necessarily caused any diminution of what that area can function as a wetland.
I think Paul's concern is that through the action of having to cross that to get up to the outfall, we've now made what was a somewhat low-lying, wettish area into an actual pond, and that the water gets down in there and can't get out. And if that's the case, and if it was, if the water in this low-lying area was actually feeding the wetland into that channel on that side,
Yep.
and the water's trapped in this pond now, then the wetland may be drier than it used to be.
Okay.
I think that's Paul's concern.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's just a worry of changing the hydrology kind of
Yep.
as, into the future.
And I do think it is a little deeper. I don't think it's substantially deeper, and I do still feel there are some hydrogeologic connections between this deeper area and the larger wetland, but perhaps that's something that another inspection would clarify or give us all some consistency with what we feel is there now and how it's functioning.
Yeah.
Okay.
do you ever consider
Sorry.
big drones for going in there?
Yeah, I mean, I would be fearful that of having to do anything substantive now, because I would feel obviously bringing any kind of machinery in now would cause more harm than probably good. Yeah, so maybe some larger drones that could fly in and drop some material would be great. Item B from this was that, and unfortunately I don't have a great larger site plan, but some of the smaller ones from the post-remedial site inspections might provide. So there were two drainage channels that come out of the stormwater conveyance. We essentially called that the eastern and the western channel. There was a comment at the inspection in July that, the eastern channel, from what we could tell, took more of the oil because it had sort of more ebbs and flows and more detritus in places where it allowed oil to seep and soak into the nooks and crannies of the channels as opposed to just be discharged to the wetland. And so there was one area in particular in the eastern drain channel, about 100 feet from the outfall,
where we truly had to bite into the embankment of the channel to get all of the impacts out. And this resulted in maybe a average of 5 to 10 foot widening of the channel across maybe 30-foot length of this channel. And so that was, a comment that was made at the inspection, and we note that we did widen it there. We feel that we had to widen it for good reason, and our ability to bring anything other than trap rock up into this location was pretty difficult due to its distance from our staging location. So while we do note that it's wider, we do feel that the channel still functions the same as before we had remediated it, and we'd be hopeful that either through the commission's opinion now or through some additional inspections of the site, we could come to an agreement that hopefully it's still functioning the same, and there isn't any issue with it being slightly wider in that location.
I'm sorry, so you're saying it's, and I feel like I this late in the game, but
Yep.
the widening occurred near the up towards the beginning of the outfall, behind 112?
Yes, it did.
Here's the,
Oh, yeah, okay. Very good. Yep. Okay, so this being the outfall here, so
Yeah.
about 100 feet down, we had an area where we really had to bite into this, this embankment across maybe a 30-foot area. It's maybe 5 to 10 feet wider than the rest of the channel.
But the outfall being here.
Outfall being there, and it was just because of the meandering of this portion of the channel and the detritus that was caught in here, that a bulk of oil got caught in and was able to seep into the to the sidewalls of that channel.
But at the same time, the amount of water is essentially governed by the beginning of it, of the channel.
That's correct.
So you're probably seeing the same amount of water, it's just spread over a larger area in that area.
Yep, and it has been, stabilized such that it doesn't appear to be a point of erosion or loss in the channel itself.
Thank you.
Yep. And lastly, item C, so we did restore the outfall location, and as the commission probably is aware, there was a new discharge pipe put in by a contractor, sort of concurrent with some of our remedial activities down there, such that there is a new outfall pipe as well as a historical outfall pipe, which is shown in some of the, I think, one of the photos. Yes, you can see it in photo 7 in attachment 5. The green pipe that sticks out of the stone wall, for lack of a better term, is the historical pipe that fed from the catch basin outfall, and then the larger black pipe you see above the stone wall is the contractor installed new piping. And there's been some discussion about the percentage of stormwater that feeds the eastern channel versus the western channel as we have restored it. There is some thought, and I'm embarrassed to not recall now, there was some thought that the western channel is now taking more of the water than the eastern channel in times of high outfall from the conveyance system. And I had commented to Joanne and to Paul at the time of the meeting, we did feel that probably a couple of laborers with some shovels and some buckets and a day or two's worth of work at the outfall could probably readjust the 1.5-inch stone that's in the primary outfall area to allow water that's coming from those two pipes to more evenly distribute between those two channels.
So both those pipes are functioning?
The green pipe is supposed to be cut off, but I almost think it's feeding groundwater that's expressing itself out of the hill as opposed to anything that's coming from the stormwater system.
I think so too. I think it's the pipe from and to nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that said, the eastern channel is not dry by any means and certainly still has flow, but I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say it looks like the western receives more now than it did prior. Yeah.
Before you guys had that, this is where all the pumps used to be sitting, right, if I remember correctly?
That's right, yeah, we had the little
so was there,
collection system.
I guess, some sort of a topo of what was there prior to you getting in there and putting your pumps in place and all?
Yeah, there wasn't a topographic elevation shot per se, but we had
the rest of top of slope outside of our area, and we matched the backfill to the rest of top of slope and grade, such that I really just think it's the fact that the stone that we used to backfill wasn't properly channelized, feeding the east as much as it was the west, so the water just sees the path of least resistance and goes west. And I don't think it would be too much effort to redirect enough of that to make it be more or less even.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's it for me tonight.
Yeah? You happy with that?
Yes, I honestly am. It took a lot of effort and a lot of people, including the commission and everybody involved, to be able to do this cleanup, but I feel very satisfied in the work that was done, and I feel as though that area is going to come back to a condition or better than it was when the oil spill happened. Yeah.
I appreciate all your hard work.
Yeah, well, thank you, and we appreciate all the input, feedback, and understanding that the commission's been able to provide through the process.
It's been quite a project.
It really is.
Yes.
Yeah, and so many involved parties too,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
truly.
And I haven't been out to walk up there mostly because I couldn't.
Yeah,
Really, yeah.
yep,
A lot of benches.
yeah, it sprung back. Mother Nature is,
Isn't it amazing?
really is doing its thing.
Yep. Good. Well, I guess we should talk to Paul again. And do you want to make a plan for fixing the outfall, or how do you want to proceed?
We would be, if there's any more feedback that would come from the commission or from Paul over the short term, we would take that, and if not, we could prepare what we feel is a suitable plan and get that in as one of our submittals that I've kind of denotated here over the next 2 months. And I imagine that if we're going to submit a plan, it would be something we'd be looking to do in spring, because it seems like the weather is probably getting
Ready to fail.
take over here soon.
Is that something that you would do like in stages? You would take out a little bit and see how it reacts over time, and then take out more if need be, or you know, try to fix it?
Yeah, no, I think that would be a reasonable, kind of an iterative approach to see how much is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I would only propose to try to relocate the material that's there to allow the channel to do its thing, as opposed to take anything away. But that's probably a good idea. It would be an iterative approach to, not do more work than we need to, and make sure that, we're not going to take too much away from the Western Channel.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
We all done with this? All right. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you, folks. Have a good night.
Yeah. Oh, she's up. Are they together?
That wasn't the first one, it was.
That's Jen. That's one of our
Potential.
yeah.
She's gonna hold.
Yeah,
Come in. Okay.
Baptism by fire, John.
Boy, geez, George, what the heck?
Land there.
I wish I could have done this too, but. All right. Shall we move on
Yes, shall we?
to public hearing NOI Town of Ayer Pine Meadow Conservation Area Pond Leveling Device?
Otherwise known as
Everly
a
Seaver.
Receiver, NOI.
Is this really continued? No. We haven't opened it yet, have we? Yeah, we did. 'Cause you
We
were-
did.
yeah.
We advertised it.
Yeah, I read
so
it.
Yeah.
So it was.
I don't know what happened to it up here. Oh, there
There we
it
go.
is. Well, so I have become extremely sympathetic to people who have to complete this form. When the project site is in an ACEC as well as priority habitat and estimated habitat. I'm just saying this. Oy. So I talked with Mark Wetzel about this before I finished this. Since they're paying for it, I thought he might like to be the one to sign this.
Oh.
But I did put our name on here too, so that we'd get the mail. So he signed this yesterday. I sent it off to DEP and Natural Heritage today. We actually didn't have to pay a filing fee because it's a town project, but we still had to pay the Natural Heritage fee of $300. So I had the treasurer write a check out of our services budget line where we had 300 even. So I also have, what is this? Orders ready, but we can't issue orders until we get a file number. We could sign the order and just not issue it until I get the file number. It's kind of up to you. I talked to Judy about this as one of her last official acts as our circuit rider, and we've got just the standard 20 conditions from DEP as well as a couple of our conditions, which are somewhere. She wanted us to include a condition allowing for annual maintenance of this thing going forward in our special conditions. So we instead of having 53 special conditions, we have 3.
There's no reason not to sign it and issue it later, is there?
Well, do we have to wait to hear from Natural Heritage?
We do.
We'll curse it if we sign too fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
True. So we can just,
Motion to continue.
we're on the expedited Natural Heritage, and they've been turning those things around really fast lately. All right, well, we can.
So I make a motion to continue?
So moved. Continue to December 5th.
December 5th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it passed. So we're not doing anything with COCs
Well,
or discussion?
I think we should have a discussion about this situation. I hope I forwarded you all Steve's email from this afternoon saying that he didn't know the status of the outstanding items, basically.
Okay.
I think he's ready to be done with this project.
So I sort of think the cleanest thing I could recommend is just to deny all of these and let him come back to us when he actually has things finished. And rather than trying to, so I gave you each have every single one of these in your packet. Just worked on a table, I worked on a table trying to sort this out.
Actually, I mean, in some ways, I think the one thing is you have to do a sidewalk. Or George, don't you think? Based on that.
The rules say we
Yeah.
do, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the regulations are.
But who would schedule the site walk or contact the residents? Because it's really, somebody from the project should be scheduling that.
Yeah.
So, it's not on us to do that.
And is he aware of our policy of not submitting more than 3 items at a time?
Well, I think our policy is that we won't schedule more than 3 on a evening.
On a given evening?
Yeah.
And he's aware of this?
No doubt.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I don't know how much we can't actually say you can't submit requests because
Right.
what the Protection Act
Right.
says.
Well, we'll just entertain 3 in an evening.
Yeah, unless, well,
So these are the, yeah.
yeah.
Are there any of these that we're okay with, or?
It's
Well, we should
hard
do-
to know without a site walk, really.
We should do sidewalk.
I mean, they all seem to have more than just an issue, 1 or 2, it's like
Right.
multiple, right? So that's why I'm just curious.
Yeah, there are extended clearing limits on a bunch.
Yeah.
And this is Steve's,
Some new,
this is Steve's version of what is different from the approved plan and the as-built. And it's only Steve's version. So
So do we go and spend the day?
it really, I don't think it would take more than hour or 2.
I think 2.
Maybe 2.
maybe 2.
I mean, an actual filling out of a certificate of compliance is not the same paperwork as,
No, the
Order of
that,
conditions.
No, that's actually a relatively, we can,
so I would rather paperwork stuff and stuff like this, where it's relatively simple form, more take the stance that.
hey,
We have a guest?
Finish my sentence.
Yes.
okay,
finish.
yes, do.
Or take the stance that if it's not getting into other work and other pressing business, and you get into space and you can churn them out, fine. If we have a lot of other stuff on the agenda, then of course they'll have to wait for some of them. But I wouldn't do a hard and fast, we can only do 3. I don't know, that was sort of Bill, but
I know.
some flexibility.
Well, but we got pushed to this point by these same applicants doing this same
We
thing.
did,
We did,
but
yes.
But that was orders of conditions or amendments. So my own feeling is,
And extensions, don't forget those.
and extensions, but doing the COCs is a different matter. And, if we don't get them all done in one meeting because we have other stuff and other applications, fine, but,
So my guess is that a lot of these are going to be COCs with conditions because of the stuff, all the
Right.
stuff. And we don't have a single affidavit.
that's the sticking point. I mean, because we had that email from the resident complaining about
Right.
signs appearing that apparently are not part of
Shouldn't even be
his.
there.
Right.
Yeah, and we didn't enter the property.
No.
They shouldn't enter the property without notification either. But I don't know, I mean, a request for a certificate of compliance, could we make it a sticking point that we do need that affidavit? Or every effort to provide that affidavit for new projects where relatively recent projects where it's possible to get it before we move forward on the COC? I mean, obviously, old projects back in the
Yeah.
90s,
Yeah.
that's one clip. Because it just provides a safeguard so that, like, as this one homeowner who emailed, There obviously didn't seem to have, and you don't know what you sign or what papers you're ignoring or not at closing, but, assuming he might not have gotten the order of conditions, he obviously has no idea what a wetland or wetland protection act is. So requiring the affidavit in our hands is a way of us also ensuring that the torch has been passed and the homeowner is aware of their responsibilities.
Makes sense.
So I'd be a stickler on that, and I wouldn't be a stickler on saying we can only do 3 at a time if we have.
If we have the space on the schedule.
Yeah.
Right.
That sounds fine.
I mean, maybe we can split it into 2 different meetings if you're done with them. And,
Yeah. And do we need to schedule a sidewalk?
Yeah.
sounds like-
Do a site walk for all of them at once, just for our time's sake.
Right. But somebody else is gonna have to set that up with the homeowners, because I don't.
That's out there.
Yeah.
Shall we propose dates to them?
So, could we convey to Mr. Mulaney that, that it appears that, that we can move forward, once we have the affidavits in hand, we can move forward. And in the meantime, we'd like to schedule a site walk, which they need to set up and confirm with all the homeowners. Give them a few dates.
And the affidavits were part of the order of conditions?
It's
Number
like
3.
Number 3. Not even buried.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, includes all the wording.
I know I had to sign one, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once we get
All right.
the affidavits, we ask to schedule a site walk. Is that what I heard you
Remember
say?
reading it?
I know.
I got my journal on it.
I would say, because weather being weather,
Right?
and holidays being holidays, every effort should be made to schedule a site walk, but we wouldn't move forward on issuing a certificate of compliance until we have the affidavits in hand.
So I'm still kind of thinking that these were premature because so many things were not complete. May I suggest that we move on to Jeff Thomas and we can take this up? Yeah.
Sure. Would you like to join us?
Sure, actually, the chairman of the Parks Commission, Jason Mayo, is also here.
Hello. Please have a seat.
I wasn't sure if we were going to make the agenda, but you guys might have a lot of pressing business.
Oh, we had pitchforks.
But not torches?
No, we had torches too. So how was your meeting?
How was what?
How was your meeting?
Unofficial. Yeah.
Uneventful?
It was, actually, there was a snafu with our meeting. I don't know what happened with my email I sent on Tuesday. I asked the commission, that they got the notice for my thing. They didn't. And then I checked all my sent emails. I sent about 40 emails that day. My records show I only had sent 5. So one of those emails was to, not to bore you guys with administrative details, but to post meetings, we have to send something to an address called agenda, where it gets posted all over the world.
Exactly.
And I sent it out, and apparently it never got there. So we never had an official meeting tonight. So we just met informally to review certain things, including your proposal.
Yes.
So is everyone abreast of what we're talking about?
Well, why don't you fill them in, just in case they're not?
Okay, so, may I?
Please.
At Sandy Pond Beach, for a number of years, decades really, there's been discussion about having a boat launch there. And it's been something that's been thought about, but as anyone familiar with that area knows, it's limited both in its size and what it's available for. So during the swim season, with all the crowds and everything else, it would be rather prohibitive to allow any type of boating access from that point. There's also some safety issues, and probably the biggest driving force that's kept us from pursuing it any further is parking, because the town parking is very limited, and it would be very difficult to push more usage with canoe, kayak, for boating to be parked there. And there is nowhere else to park, as you know. It's very limited parking in the streets, particularly along Sandy, Snake Hill Road heading toward the gun club.
Have you thought about building a parking garage right there?
It would take us less than 25 years. So I'll let you know when we get to there. But in the meantime, Joanne had mentioned to me that there was a lot that's been thought about being deeded to the town potentially. If you're familiar with that is, it's very close to the area. And something that, so is this something that,
Yeah.
so you guys are all aware of
On the other
that,
side
that
of-
potential,
Yeah.
right? And to your interest, it would be great to have a parking lot there for potential boating access to the two ponds, Flanagan and Sandy, so.
And you would limit the parking? You would limit the parking there to boating specifically, or?
Well,
How would you
the
do
area being thought to send to the town would have to decide who oversees it,
Yeah.
and then the entity that oversees it would then decide what its use is. So, you know, that's, we're not even thinking
No,
about
that's
that aspect of it
TBD,
yet.
yeah.
It's, the parking lot that is next to Sandy Pond is overseen by the Parks Commission, and currently that is reserved for residents only. That's the only designation it's for. We do not allow access in the Sandy Pond area for canoe kayak, and we discourage people from parking canoe kayak to park there for not, if they're, for anyone to park there if they're not actually using Sandy Pond Beach. So by definition, they wouldn't be parking there because you can't launch a kayak. So one thought that's been going on for a number of years, that if we ever did do something there, if you're familiar with Sandy Pond, the facility, there's a vehicle access on the left looking at the pond that we use for emergencies and for maintenance. So we can drive a vehicle through there. And then the fence along the parking lot continues on for about 15 feet to connect to our the border with the property that we are with, and the fence runs from there all the way down to the water. So one thought we'd had would be to create a second fence to also go down to the water, to create about a 15-foot wide corridor, and then create a second gateway that people could use to just open the gate from there, bring a canoe and kayak through that corridor and bring it down to the water through there, and make our swimming area restricted so that it wouldn't be interfering with that. So all that sounds great. You know, the commission talked about it a little bit tonight, and I'll turn it over to Jason in a moment to talk about some of the thoughts and concerns that may exist with that. Some that we might not even thought about, because this is a relatively new thought for us. Usually it's been a non-starter when it's been brought up just because of the parking aspect. One thing that's benefited that thought process for us is we've created a new policy over the last 4 years of resident and non-resident parking in that lower parking lot. So up until 4 years ago, that parking lot was open to the public, and it's just recently that we've been able to designate that for residents only. And by doing so, that's actually opened up quite a bit of parking. It's relatively rare for that parking lot to be full, where a resident can't find a place to park there. So that at least helps the Parks Department be more open to the discussion of having a boat access to Sandy Pond through there. Having a second parking lot available opens it up even more. So that was brought up to the Parks Commission, and I'll turn it over to Jason.
Yeah,
to,
I mean, we haven't made any
discuss
decisions
it.
yet, but one thought we could do, we thought about is possibly limiting the Sandy Pond parking to swimmers only, town and swimmers only, which would then leave this other parking lot across the street open, really. I mean, I don't know if we would limit it to residents only, or, I mean, we really would have to see the usage, see if it's getting full, if it was, if we're getting overflow from swimmers into there, and it's, jamming it up. I don't even really know how big the lot is, so.
It's not very big.
No, it's only 40 feet wide.
Okay, so we're not talking about a lot of parking.
No, we're talking
there either.
maybe 6.
I was gonna say, I think we thought maybe half a dozen.
Yeah.
I would say it's similar to our upper parking lot,
Yeah.
where you can only have one row and then enough space for people to come in and out of.
Okay.
Yeah, because you need turn around, turn around distance, right?
Yeah.
When you pull in.
Sure. I mean, We could designate a boat launch only. I mean, we've seen that in other places too. That could be a thought if that's the use we wanted to ensure that it was only used for
But then
things like
we're
that.
saying people are then carrying their boats, kayaks across Snake Hill, then, right?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're crossing a highway, super highway. I mean, we could ask DPW to possibly put a sidewalk in, a crosswalk in there.
Yeah. You see the turtles cross.
Yeah, right.
So it's the kayak, universal kayak crossing.
Right. You just gotta be careful, you know?
That would be funny.
But it could be an opportunity to be able to launch into Flanagan's and Sandy Pond. And the way our swimming area is, it would kind of be nice. We have we tie off our rope to a fence, and it's not really swimmable area that is technically under our swimming area. And also it tightens the area for our guards. Now they only have to focus on a smaller area. So we would cut the swimming area a little bit. Like Jeff was saying, create like a corridor, a fenced corridor. There'd be plenty of buffer to launch kayaks. There wouldn't be any. We would probably not want to have any motorized
Oh, I wouldn't
boats
think so.
floating out of there. You know, we have some
Just the
extra
safety aspect
Yeah.
would be prohibitive.
We had some extra docks from laying around from old docks that when we got the new docking system this past year. So you know, that's something we could look to put in. As far as Flanagan's, we might have to do some fill. I don't know. It could just be mud launch. I'm not really sure. We'd have to see the area, but yeah, I think it's
Getting into Flanagan's is
might be difficult.
really, yeah,
And then the ownership issue, right?
right.
I told you about that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which is
Weird.
bizarre, yeah.
Yeah,
Not-
Somebody
they
owns the pond.
Somebody owns the
bottom.
pond.
That's
bottom.
weird.
Pouring a lot of it.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the
Yeah.
very least, I think it gives an opportunity for people that want to launch into Sandy Pond, and I think that's something we would want to explore more, for sure. Obviously, the cost issue and the whoever has jurisdiction of the parking lot would have to be worked out, but I don't think it's anything that's a roadblock right now. It's definitely something we should look at and explore.
Yeah, it seems like just adding one more row of chain link fence would solve some of your problems that you have anyway and create access to a great pond that's supposed to have public access.
And check in with CPC, that might be a funding source
I will be.
potentially.
And the state does offer money for boat launch construction, so whether that includes, creating a fence to create a corridor for that, who knows, maybe.
Yeah, it probably would, but I know that they really would prefer parking on the same side of the road where the water is.
Sure.
Even if it's just a space, one space.
Mm.
Pull in, drop your stuff off, and cross.
Right.
And then,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, it seemed like it was worth exploring.
Absolutely.
Jeff and I
Yes, sir.
had a cold, rainy, miserable sidewalk
You
over
picked a
here.
terrible day to do that.
Horrible. What were we
What were we
thinking?
thinking?
Ugh, we could have gone today.
Well, if you went on a nice day, you would have had too many boaters in the way. So.
Well, exactly.
Well, thank you for your input.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, thanks for bringing it up.
Sure.
Yes, it's a great idea.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in having a collaborative work issue on this, and Joanne and I can work together, my board has given me permission to work with Joanne on this, so if you guys are open for that, then we can explore some more.
Great.
Awesome.
Great.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
How's the path? Did they pave at
I've
Peroni
been
Park?
running so much all day, I didn't even have a chance to go look at it, so I'll take a look tomorrow and let you know. Going fast.
So the
So more
the
paved?
part two of
Part
the
two?
paved path at the perimeter of Peroni Park
Say that.
was
No
paved
alliteration there.
today.
That's exciting.
Really exciting.
Great.
Really exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
That's more fun
So-
than talking about CMCs.
Continue the discussion on COCs.
So Steve's email he's not been informed about whether the signs are in place and, or the affidavits. So we know that the signs are all in place.
Right,
And actually
and-
too many signs are in place.
Right,
They
and
should
Luke
be.
actually let Steve know that after that,
Okay.
that email, so.
But the big question is the affidavits.
Right.
But I personally wouldn't be in favor of automatically denying them all, because we've never, George, you've been out here longer than me, we've never quite worked that way before. And it's getting very adversarial over a small thing. Whereas, I mean, I'd rather stick to like, okay, we can't process it till we have that affidavit. But,
Yeah, it's basically, it's just,
yeah.
what we're saying,
But I
it's
wouldn't make them-
incomplete.
I wouldn't make them resubmit paperwork. It's unkind to the trees.
It is unkind to the trees.
That would be my view.
The regulations do say we have to issue these things within 21 days of their receipt. Doesn't say anything about completeness.
We've never really had to go by that before, though.
Well, and we actually
Nobody's
can't.
pushed it.
No, and we can't. We got a request for COC today for the Global Montello gas station. And we can't do it in 21 days. I think that one I can do the site walk myself on, because it's just perfect. It's so perfect, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I wouldn't get hung up on the 21 days unless somebody wanted to make it an issue. We've never had anybody make it an issue.
But
Not
again,
yet.
going
Not
back to when
yet.
we did the bylaws though too, we had this, the whole thought process there was it needs to be complete. So if we're saying we need the affidavit for it to be a complete
Right.
submission of the COC, 21 days doesn't start until it's complete.
Right, right. So basically we have incomplete submissions.
Right.
So they don't have to be resubmitted,
No,
just
they just have to be
completed.
completed.
I think.
Well, also completion, I presume is you receive it and then you do the site walk because you have to, you know, there are many things that are altered or different from the original, you know, order of conditions, right? And is that okay or not okay, right?
There's one house that's 2 feet higher
Really?
than it was on the plans.
Yeah. There's, you know,
Yeah.
lawn clearing limits that are further than what was proposed and.
Yeah, a lot of things. But I think I'm agreeing with Jess on this one, but not to deny, but process them when we can.
When we get the affidavits, and what
Yeah.
happens if that's never? I guess maybe we just wait to see.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, then if it's never, then we
Well,
reject.
didn't he say he was, in his email, that he was getting the affidavits? Wasn't that in the email?
he's,
He was checking with Heliopolis and Heliopolis.
yeah,
The real estate.
Yeah, the lawyers.
the law firm is responsible for securing and providing the affidavits. I have not been informed whether Concom has received all the affidavits from Heliopolis. We haven't received any. So,
Are these the first ones for King Ray Hill, or have other affidavits been received for other lots already?
a number of years ago, we were trying to get them to clean things up, and there were a bunch that didn't have affidavits, and then because they didn't do it at the signing, they went back with a law firm to some of the homeowners, and a number of them refused to sign the affidavits, so.
And so the COCs had already been awarded, or?
No, we couldn't get, nobody could, I think we wound up just issuing the COCs at that point, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Because there was, but we're trying to make them honor the affidavit thing now.
Yeah.
And, I mean, certainly they were aware
This was an issue for us a few years ago.
They being the developer,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, because that's why the law firm is, but the law firm hasn't been doing it.
Were the COCs signed with prejudice or anything like that, or? I mean, was it made known that your next one or whatever, we need the affidavits? Again, I'm not sure what happened.
I think that was stressed to Steve at one point, I remember.
Yeah,
When-
he
when-
says his
You know, when
response, I think we mentioned it a few months ago, was he'll let them know. It's not part of his thing though.
Right, yeah.
But, and he did email to them recently about something about the affidavits, so he was waiting for the affidavits. So this isn't on Steve, this is
Right, it's on the
Ridgeview Realty
on the
Trust.
realty, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's Steve's issue, I'm just saying in
Right,
general.
Right,
Yeah,
Again,
right.
on a number of occasions, we've made them aware that we are wanting affidavits.
so maybe we draft a letter for the chair to sign.
Thank you. We meaning,
Jess. We could do our collaboration. Yes. Draft a letter to Ridgeview Realty Trust that just says, and Steve, and just say, you know, a few things. One, we want to schedule site walks while the weather's good so we can see the ground conditions before it gets covered with snow. But meanwhile, we wouldn't actually process the COCs until we get
Till they're
those
complete.
signed affidavits.
Right. Thank you, we're in receipt of your incomplete COCs.
Yeah.
That lack the following, blah, 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 blah.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
I imagine I'll write a beautiful letter.
I imagine you will. So, because he's been here longer than me too. What do you think, George?
It sounds good.
So it should mention, okay, that like to schedule a site walk for all 9 lots while the weather's good and we can see the ground conditions.
If it's possible, I mean,
I know.
that's gonna be hard to arrange
With time.
well, not with just with us, but with all the
Right.
9 lots agreeing.
Yeah, but it would be, well, we'd have to say it's on them to secure, to alert homeowners that we would be doing this. And
Yeah.
obviously Steve should be there or somebody, right? Steve should, yeah.
We don't need to have permission to do this, we just need to give them notice.
No, we would need permission,
Permission, right?
Yeah.
but they don't have to be there. They can just say, yeah, if you want to come on Saturday, we won't be around, but yeah, take a look or whatever.
But contacting for permission should be on Ridgeview.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did have that one site on Hay Meadow, Villanova, where they wouldn't let us do a site visit. And that was a contentious thing at the time anyways. It was appealed and this, that, and the other thing. But,
They give you a reason?
well, this particular developer, they had sold the house to the first homeowner, but they hadn't completed a detention basin at the back of the property. And apparently, there was no affidavit and they didn't get it, the homeowner didn't get a copy. And then suddenly, 2 years after they've been there, people are starting to mark down trees to take down the back of their property. So they flipped out, understandably.
Yeah.
And so that turned into, and eventually it was resolved with the detention basin being moved to the back of some new properties that were just being constructed. So, and nobody had bought those yet.
Right.
But we couldn't do a site walk on the COC. So I think DEP, it was Judy or somebody, or Denise or somebody else actually, that said, well, see what we could see from the street. And if everything looked okay, go ahead. Okay.
Well, once again, I'm gonna bring up drones. I mean, why,
I think we should get an office drone.
with a camera on it, you just buzz around.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
There are air rights. We
Are
probably.
there?
People's
Yes.
houses, yeah.
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 How high
yeah.
is it?
Yeah, how high?
To infinity and beyond.
Yeah,
No.
spying, yeah,
No.
on somebody, yeah.
It is,
Yeah, pretty
yeah.
much, yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Put a drone up,
Yeah.
camera of everybody's,
yeah.
sunbathing out in the, next to their pools, it's like-
Google Maps is
That's
actually.
innovative.
So there's,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so we'll draft a.
Send that to Duke and Steve.
Yep.
Also, get that ready and then, so logistically, because we're not sending it snail mail, it's sent an email, right? So I'll get it ready, you guys review it on Tuesday, and then you would have to send it from your town account, email account, or something like that. It would have to be the town account. Should be the town account.
Yeah.
Okay, so have that ready for Tuesday.
Okay.
So, is that it on the?
Well, so we don't have to talk about this one tonight, unless you really want to.
Did we put this off before?
We did, and we can really,
Will it take long?
no. So in your packet, there is the last inspection report from Deschamps, Creative Land and Water Engineering. Where he, on the second page, he's got a bulleted list of mostly minor issues with the site. But when you take them all together and add them to the grid of ongoing lot activities, there's he and I really just need to take a walk around up there with Luke and make a list of things for Luke to fix before winter. There is, I don't know if it actually made it to this list. One of the basins is leaking. And they keep saying it's not a really big concern, but it seems like a basin shouldn't be leaking.
Not before winter.
Yeah, it's interesting. It didn't make it to this list. So really, it's really just on me to make a date with Deschamps, and we can go up there and make sure that the site's ready to go through the winter.
Okay.
I think it's less, last year at this time, it was kind of critical. There were a lot of things that were just partly built, but the basins are all built now. One of them's leaking. And I probably won't be able to do that this coming week, but pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
And if you do it before our sidewalk, if there's anything we need to look at while we're doing CRC.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So about midway down on the list there, the bulleted items, so 143A said had no germination at time of inspection. Assuming that it isn't, what can they do for the winter? What do they do?
They could spray hay mulch on it. They could spray hydroseed without the seed. Just spray something on it to
Or if you look at the next one, it says 68 is growing dense. You do a hair transplant.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they could sod it out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on a lot of the list here.
I know.
New lawn growing dense. Oh, actually, no, it was just not really on that one, I guess. More closely.
So do we have a one thing ideally thinking would be done around now? Of course, never asking for anything.
Full build out, you mean?
Yeah,
Well,
it's never gonna end.
That's the plan.
I'm just trying to think of what's still open there, right?
Yeah.
I did just sign off on 2 building permits. One with orders and one without, so there's 2 more. It's good. All right. Do we want to talk about this another day?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay. Jess has supplied us with a list of meeting dates for 2020.
With the standard adjustments around Thanksgiving and Christmas that we always do. The only thing I would point out we could keep in mind for the following year is if we met on December 17th and looked at the calendar for January 2021, that might almost be a 4-week gap. But who knows, maybe things would be quiet.
And it's through the holidays anyway, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Bonnie will be coming back then, so.
great.
Give me a year after the dust settles.
Yes.
You can slip right into the chair.
Yeah.
Don't tell her that, she'll never come back.
Do we need to vote on those? Or just say,
Yeah,
yeah,
that looks good.
looks good.
Looks good.
So
Looks good.
give to Carly, get the room reservations.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, Joss. Madam Secretary.
You're a jerk of a clerk. The clerk jerk.
Conservation updates?
Let's see. Did I already tell you the rotary stormwater basin is hydro seeded? It looks very green over there.
Yep.
Pingree Hill replication areas. Desheng is trying hard to say it's okay to plant that second one in the spring, and we'll talk about that when I go up there to see him. I already told you about the Global Montello COC. What I didn't tell you is that I called Jesse Johnson, who is the engineer on that project, to ask him how he would like to handle that. If he's concerned about the 21 days or not. I think we learned at the land use meeting today that that gas station's gonna open in mid-December.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the 13th or something like that.
I was hoping to be Black Friday and they were going to have gas on sale.
Yeah.
That would be nice, huh? Yeah.
The notice of intent for repaving at Murphy Knives, they basically came in and asked for it back. After giving us a new plan showing the actual edge of the paving everywhere on the site, they'd gotten a comment from DEP when they
Denise Charles, right?
Right, from Denise, when she issued the file number saying, where's your stormwater calculations, or why don't you have any? And Steve Sears from David E. Ross came in, and I said, well, you could just ask her what she means by that. So we decided the best thing to do was to not go ahead and advertise it yet. And if they need to come back with stormwater calculations, they will.
Is this gonna mean it's gonna be too late this year to do it?
Possibly, but I also don't think that's a huge concern of theirs.
As long as the plants are open, out.
Right.
So
Yeah, and that's like through
we were
things.
paving right up to the end of December last year and some stuff.
Really, that late?
Okay. They can probably utilize the, their parking lot as is anyway.
Oh, absolutely, they
until
absolutely
springtime.
can,
And
yeah.
it is the whole parking lot, right? Not just a driveway, correct?
Right,
That's what I figured.
and it's not just the little piece of paving in the buffer zone, which is what the plan made it look like.
Yeah.
So that I hadn't advertised it yet, and the easiest thing seemed to be to just give it back to them and say, okay, come to us when you really mean it.
And what are they gonna turn that into again?
It's a manufacturing, light industrial manufacturing. They
Like a simple
assemble
electronic purchase, something like that you said?
controls, some kind of controls from parts that they buy.
Okay.
Much better than if somebody wanted to turn it into like 18 townhouses.
Yeah, remember that? That was small, but okay.
Traffic nightmare on that street.
Yeah.
Many train exodus.
So I'm gonna roar through these. Hemlock Drive has moved their shed and put in their irrigation system.
And still working on the trees?
The trees are still standing. We talked to the fire chief today. The Balch Pond flashboards are out. We have our new circuit rider named Kim Roth. Talked to Jeff about Sandy Pond. The sheds update is that the guy whose stuff is in the shed is planning on having the stuff out of the shed by the end of January, and he's going to give us an update mid-December because he's coming up from Georgia for a family thing, and he's going to try to give away most of the stuff that's in the shed, and anything that he can't give away, he's just going to get a dumpster and throw out. So,
Do we want to maybe pay him to take all the rest of the stuff in the dumpster?
well, that's a thought. That's a very good thought.
The windows under the tarps and stuff, right?
Yeah.
All the stuff in tarps and under the shed, and
Yep.
all the stuff in the wing-to.
A lot of stuff.
Quite a lot of
Yeah, so
stuff.
probably
Yeah.
a couple of dumpsters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody get a dumpster up there.
I don't
Was
know.
tight also.
You're not having a dumpster up
Yeah.
there. Then, can you?
You could hike it down to it. You'd have to hike still down the driveway.
He still owns the other
Unless they
house.
do next
Yeah, I
door
mean,
still.
that first.
Knowing that it's going away, that would be okay to let them.
Be willing to have it come from the.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, dumpster trucks are overly light. Did we ever find out, or did anybody reach out, I guess, to, you say Neshoba Tech, or was it, to see if there's,
I
from
told,
a shed perspective, like, will they use it for something? Or?
oh, the building itself?
Yeah.
No, I asked him to talk to them and Job Corps about the stuff in the shed
Okay,
for their painting program.
okay, good.
But the shed is too big to move.
Jordan, you had mentioned like maybe the ability to maybe dismantle it and then use it.
Just use the parts.
Well, once it's cleaned out, then we could go about maybe
You can figure.
running an ad if somebody wanted to take it apart at their own expense.
Mhm.
Did I tell you guys that CPC, when we met with Jason Mayer, was there for somebody else for Parks and Recs, and I asked if they have any interest in those sheds, and he said, absolutely not.
No question.
Yep, and I still need to call the school to see that they are
Just-
not interested in bringing children over there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other people, I mean, Beth Sudemeyer is saying, yeah, there's no electricity for school use, there's no electricity, no ADA access,
Yeah.
no lights.
No
No
bathroom.
bathroom.
No
Parking.
bathroom. Yeah, so that was electricity and lights were the same thing. No bathroom, yeah. And a steep trail to get up
They
there.
did have a sleeping quarters
So-
on the
Loft area.
Hey, we could, if we were having some contentious hearings, we could have our meetings up there.
Make people work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One within the woods. One with the woods.
Well, Greg, the guy.
Glad you got a
who's-
response.
Yes,
That was
well,
positive.
he called us, he seemed very reasonable.
Good, that's good.
So, and he was basically just waiting for us to ask him to get his stuff out of the shed. because-
It's coming.
Yeah, exactly. Our rail trail in Marion are featured in the Rails to Trails Conservancy feature article nationwide
That's awesome.
this week. Yep, or last week, I guess. It's very, very nice. The new parking deck's gonna open next month with 17 dedicated trail spaces.
That's really fast.
Over here, the parking deck?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
I did not look done last weekend.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Crazy.
yeah.
How big is that? Like, how many parking spaces are in that thing? Does anybody know?
90?
I did
Really?
it. Can't remember.
Something
I
like
wasn't
that.
sure if it was gonna make it.
Huh. I guess I never really used that much.
Commuters.
So,
That's good.
I had a long talk with Scott Murray today, who's interested in sitting in your chair.
Excellent.
Yes. Jen Amaya was here. She's interested, and
She was.
That's right.
You should tell her that.
She was.
She was, yeah. I've never had one that contentious, have you?
I think one.
Before I came on?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's not our norm, but, should we ask if a few people are interested, that they submit letters of interest to us and then we would schedule informal interviews or formal interviews?
yep, I asked Carly what the actual process was. Is there a form? She said no, just letter of interest, then we get to interview them and pick someone, and then they get appointed.
Our next meeting's sometime in December.
Yeah.
Bonnie can't leave.
And maybe if more than one is really, looks like maybe we should find out if we can have an associate or two, and we'll work on that.
And if we had several that, yeah, we thought we had a few interested, maybe we won't in the end.
Well, I know.
Don't want to jinx things.
Right.
But on the unlikely circumstance we had multiple people interested, remember last year, or I found out the town of Charlton had a thing before the state legislature to, for their conservation commission, to have alternate members
Right.
who could actually vote. And we all know when you, particularly, unless you're really well versed in plans and this and that, there's a big learning curve. At least for me there was. To get on the commission, so, having down the road, having like alternate members who could fill in and vote would be cool. So Charlton, actually, I couldn't find anything online as to what happened with their legislation. So I called them.
Oh!
Really?
Yeah. and talked to their version of their sheriff.
Yes?
And, yeah, it was passed.
Really?
Yeah, so they had, the state legislature gave them permission to have alternate members.
Wow.
So that means that there's an established legislative path now for that.
Oh,
So
Cool.
were we ever to have an abundance of people interested in joining our happy flock, if we wanted to, I don't want to curse it by saying we could do that, but it would start with the associate idea.
it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, you could be our alternate.
Yeah.
And the advantage of the alternate is
Already up to speed.
Can you come next tomorrow night?
so we could do that with Bonnie for every meeting.
Can you come tomorrow night?
Oh, man.
All right, so the other thing,
Yes.
okay.
Mhm. It's a
In-
contradiction going on
In
there.
your
It's not good.
hunting abstracts here on
Yep.
the page that has the insert, there should be a copy of the Pine Meadow regulations and a copy of a draft sign about hunting. And I put it on page 36 because this is the deer hunting
Mhm.
rules and regulations.
So
So,
archery is not allowed in Pine Meadow?
well,
But it says
no.
here that it is, so that's the concern.
Well, but read about shotgun deer season. Read in the abstract, says, during shotgun deer season, hunters may use shotguns no larger than 10 gauge, bows and arrows, or muzzle loaders not smaller than 44 caliber or larger than 775 caliber. Hunters may use modern muzzle loaders, hinge action muzzle loaders, muzzle loaders with telecom.
telescopic sight.
Yeah,
Mhm.
What
But
are
you can't-
sabot rounds?
I don't know,
Right there.
the
It's,
big lead balls.
well, it's a lead ball, but it's inside a plastic carrier like,
Oh.
and it takes the rifle in action, and then they disperse, and
Oh, they
the
disperse.
bullet, the lead ball goes out. and
Oh,
it's
okay.
more accurate.
Oh, and, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you can't use a rifled barrel shotgun. So during
That's interesting.
shotgun deer season, you can use a bow and arrow, and that's somehow different than archery season.
Well,
But archery is bow only, that's
Yeah.
just it, no
Yeah.
guns at all.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
see, on the state thing, the archery season starts in like,
Starts
Well,
earlier.
it's
early in
It's right
October.
there.
It's right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that goes through shotgun season.
I think it,
Well, technically, yes, just like she just said, right? So you can use your bow in shotgun season if you like, but typically, when it's finally open to shotguns,
Actually,
people are using the
no,
shotguns.
It used to.
we're in zone 9, just so you know. And so archery has their 2 different seasons depending on what zone you're in.
Right, so
But
we-
there's
are we
like a,
to-
there's a little bit of a reprieve between November 30th and December 2nd.
2 days.
Well, the 30th is a Saturday,
Yeah.
and I don't think there's hunting on Sundays.
There is no
There's-
hunting on
there's-
Sunday.
So
there's no
that's the
reprieve.
first.
Okay.
But I have a vague recollection that I thought archery season used to extend, I thought they overlapped, but I thought that was our intent. Was we didn't want to give time during archery season because we wanted to just limit it in the conservation land
Okay.
to allow some hunting, but we didn't want it to have it expanded so it would make it dangerous for school groups and whatever.
Right, so if this is the sign we put up, deer hunting is allowed, but only during shotgun season, which is just those 2 weeks.
Yep.
And I ha-
Is it done?
No, it's just getting started.
I mean, no, do a lot of people hunt in there?
No.
Is,
Now that
All it
now that I
takes is-
know,
yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be one, right?
there might be.
I mean, they might follow, they might be on the, the gun club you know, land, and they might kind of cross over if they're following,
Correct.
you know,
Yeah.
a bug or following.
Tracking after.
Yeah, tracking, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And is the shotgun shot lead?
Typically, people don't use buckshot.
They don't use
Usually they
buckshot.
use those slug.
Okay, shotgun slug.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not lead anymore, is it?
It's what?
It's not lead anymore. It's using something else.
Yeah, it's not really lead, it's something else. Yeah.
Steel,
Well, you can get
Mix
steel
of
shot
some-
for a
Right.
shotgun.
Yeah, for bird. for
Yeah,
duck and
bird,
stuff.
yeah.
So is this,
This whole thing started because somebody saw someone going into the Pine Meadow with a shotgun. And so they called up the town and said, is that allowed? We said, gee, we don't know, we don't have any rules. So we have to make rules. So this is what
Yeah.
we came up with.
Okay.
I didn't mean the highlighting to be so dark, because now you can hardly read what it
Yeah.
says, but, only shotguns and bows and arrows may be used during this time period. So I thought it would be really useful to put the dates.
Yeah, and then do it yearly.
Yep, I've got orange paper. George told me how to get into the kiosks.
Is the key back up on top?
No, I need my cordless drill with a screwdriver bit.
Oh, yeah. The only change I'd make, looking at it now, I'd probably say just deer hunting is allowed only during shotgun season. Despite what I said in my email.
You take out the butt.
Take out here and but.
No, I think here is important because it's here in Pine Meadow Conservation Area.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Deer hunting is.
You're taking words out?
Is only allowed here.
Yeah, it's only allowed.
I told John the other day, Jess, that I write these really skeletal sort of whatever it is we're working on, and you're the one who puts the flesh on the bones.
One thing I'm good at.
So do we want the butt in or out?
How about
Take
deer-
the butt out
I think take the butt out, say deer hunting is only allowed
during shotgun season.
Okay, but we have to make
Yeah.
deer hunting is
Only
only
allowed.
allowed
Here.
here during shotgun season.
Deer hunting is.
I mean,
I thought this is not.
or in this area,
They're not
I
gonna,
don't know.
they're not
It's
gonna
only allowed
stand there.
I mean,
In Pine Meadow
in Pine Meadow.
during
yeah.
shotgun
That's
season.
just,
It's a lot, yeah.
I think it looks fine.
But
Maybe it's fine just the way it is.
Yeah, let's just leave it.
I guess I would say to bring some of this in because people could very well just grab this and say, well, shotgun season says this, and
Yeah.
without limiting, tell me,
I
they could be
know.
using a 50 caliber or 44, and stuff like that. So, yeah,
That's part of the
if we
reason
don't
I-
want them to use a muzzle loader, then we should do that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that only before the allowed, because you're
Right.
kind of clarifying allowed. Because some people could just read, oh, deer hunting is allowed,
yeah,
and they forget to read the rest of the sentence.
What she said.
I don't know.
I think
I-
we should make
I-
this the Bonnie Tillotson Memorial.
Okay.
The last standing.
So what is it supposed to say?
Only.
Deer hunting is only allowed.
Here during shotgun season. Yeah, okay, can I have that?
Take it away.
One last.
All right. And unless you really, really want these, I'll collect them and I'll just put them in our thing across the hallway there, because people do take them.
All right, is that it for updates?
Yep.
Number updates?
You have to decide which way you want to go now. Which of it do you like best?
Bonnie, would you like to go?
Bonnie. Well, as my parting gift, I am very sad to leave, but I think it's, it is time, but I think at some point in the future, when life sort of becomes more normal again for me, I can, resume my volunteer, and I will be more educated but anyway, upon leaving, I'm going to gift you all a very interesting book that I've been reading.
Yes.
And I started reading this book, and I'm like, you know what? I think you all will enjoy it. It's just amazing. It's like one of the best books I've read in a while.
Guy read it and has been trying to get me to read it.
Yes, so enjoy. And then maybe we can have book club.
Oh, that's a very good idea.
Maybe February or some, maybe sometime we can get together and discuss.
Yes.
So yeah, there's that date of your thing.
Yes.
I'm thinking January.
January.
We could do January. It would be easier. I didn't hear from you, and I didn't hear from you.
Yeah, I'm okay with the 13th, so.
Okay.
But if January's better, then.
Or I
Yeah.
can do 13th.
It was a Friday, was it not? I thought?
January's nice.
January.
January.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing going on.
Holidays are
It's like after the holidays, quieted down.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look at some dates in January.
There'll be no cider. Go there.
Well, because we can get kind of second tier apples at Carlson's still. Yeah. And if we leave the cider press out under a tarp. But there will still be bourbon.
Good thought.
Yeah. Yep.
Bring it
There's
into
always
the.
bourbon.
There's always bourbon.
Right,
There's
yeah,
always
right.
mulled red wine.
Yes. Thank you
Well, this
for
is very
this.
nice. Yeah, thank
This
you.
is
You're
a
very
lovely,
welcome.
lovely gift.
You're very welcome.
George, do you have any updates? No? Mark?
Just sad to see Bonnie go.
Yeah. Sorry, you're last.
One thing for the two of you to discuss on your Tuesday meeting is, remember, he suggested last time on the issue of disposition of open space for these open space residential developments. Perhaps we should meet at some point with the planning board. So, maybe we want to, want to figure out how we want to do that. Do we want to crash one of their meetings? Which probably would be easier for them to get their presence than it would be the reverse. I don't know. I'll leave that to you guys to chit chat.
Okay.
Based
They would
on-
just put us on their
Based on
agenda.
that horrible old chair's idea.
She called you old. Did you hear that?
And I'm older than him.
Is that true?
Yeah. $1952, baby.
50 what?
52.
53.
Says me too.
Oh. Wow.
59.
Wow. I'm the youngest, I think. Oh, when were you born?
66?
Oh, okay. All right, you got me by 6 years.
Anything else?
That's it.
Motion adjourned.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.
Well, actually, did you move it?
Yes.
Then you seconded it.
Oh, I seconded.
You still don't get that, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, listen, after 9 o'clock, my brain shuts down.
10:08.
You know I go to bed.